Welcome, everybody, to the Breachers VRML EU Season 4 Top 8 Single Elimination Bracket. That's a mouthful. My name is Nightfire with 2 E's. I am joined by my co-caster, Pixel Player, coming hot off the press from yesterday. Pixel, how are you feeling after duking it out in the Top 8 Single Elim just a day ago?
Not too bad. It was a shame it was Underdog's last game of the season, but I'm happy to be the team that, you know, the final team to play against them. That was definitely an honor, and I miss them.
Yeah, I feel that, and I understand the challenge of coming through that Challenger Cup, being that 8th team, going up against the number 1 seed. You guys did put your best foot forward there, and it was still fun to tune into. Today, we've got a little bit of a different setup to start, at least. IV and Chaotic, and we look at that matchup history, look at their position in the regular season, and these two teams come relatively close in seeding to some degree. I guess seed 2 versus seed 7. A little closer than Acer and Underdogs. But we're also looking at a bit of an altered roster for Ivy, considering some health issues and some ability for some of the players to even be able to play in the league. It's interesting to see them having to adjust. And I mean, tell me about it. I think you were telling me about Gooblin offline.
I've been told that Gooblin will be playing today for Ivy, as you can see. We can see them in the lobby now. And Gooblin just came off of winning the OD. I seem to have forgot the name of what the actual championship was called, but
Cup.
Did win the EU. Yep, the EU Cup for that. So coming back to Breachers now, trying to win it for here as well, to win 2 times in a month? Less than that probably will be when the finals comes along. So that'd be pretty impressive if he can do that.
It'll be something that's, I think, been done maybe once or twice before by certain players in the league with different games, different VRML games. To see it in games that have been around for a while, and I guess, in Breachers and now in a new game like Orion Drift where it's hyper competitive, so many people playing that game, it's impressive, to say the least. It's an indicator of at least the fact that this Ivy brand, this franchise, is something to be kind of worried about if you're going to go up against it, right? I mean, they are as powerful, or starting to be as powerful as the Acer brand in my mind.
Yep, I mean, winning in one place is enough, and then being this far into the season as well for a whole different game as well. Once again, with Gooblin playing for both is something else, and then the NA side is just doing just as good as well, with Ivy being second place, Ivy NA being second place, just like the Ivy EU team.
It is impressive, I guess, like we've been saying, and it's something that we're going to keep an eye on here as we do get ready for our first matchup of the afternoon. Again, Ivy versus Chaotic. Chaotic, that 7th seed, but also a strong season performance, 7-8-1, coming in at that just above you guys on the Underdogs. And did you have experience going up against Chaotic? What do you anticipate happening here with Ivy and Chaotic this afternoon?
I think they could be a close matchup here. The Chaotic started like when we played against them as Acer, they've done some things that have caught us off guard, and definitely has a chance. Maybe they've even hidden more stuff, seeing as you don't want to show all your tricks. So they could bring something out there, like just their very long sleeve here, and take home the win already. And I said I don't even know how this matchup is going to go. I don't have a team that I know will win this game.
It's going to be interesting to see as the lobby populates. We get everybody in, and we do get ready for our first round of the afternoon. It's a best of 3 here today, and another best of 3 immediately after this one. It's Valiant's EU versus Niffin coming up. We won't talk much about that. We'll save our chat and thought for that series when time comes, because we do have everyone in the lobby, so I want to give them the ready up. And let me adjust since it's just you and me here, we'll take off the day 2 so people can see. We're in the EU top 8. It is the second day though, and we are still in the first stage of this bracket. So round 1, Acer EU and Underdogs, Acer winning there. Sunset Ravens and Ragnarok, Sunset Ravens winning there. Now Ivy and Chaotic and Valiant's EU versus Niffin. The winners will go up against each other in the semifinals on Saturday. So next Saturday, we have Acer EU versus Sunset Ravens, and the winners of today duking it out in the semifinals. And then Sunday, we have the 3rd place match in the grand finals for the regular season. So Even though this is the last, or the second to last best of 3 of the weekend, we will have more next weekend. We also obviously have North America later today at 3 p.m. PST for another 2 best of 3s. So a lot of action, a lot of breachers, a lot of competitive gameplay ahead of us here as we do get ready for what seems to be our first map on Hideout, Pixel, and I'm curious what your thoughts are on Hideout here to open things up.
It seems like a pretty common pick that I've seen for both Ivy and Chaotic. They both like this map, I'm pretty sure. So once again, it depends. This is what, just like Factory, this is one of those older maps where it's been around for quite a while. So
yep.
It's not.
And we are diving into round 1, and now we do have Chaotic on the defense, Ivy on the attack, and we'll reset the scores from last series if we can. We can't. We'll fix that eventually. And dive into round number 1, Chaotic. It's happening. We're finally here. We are into the action in our first best of 3, and yeah, I think Hideout's kind of like a fitting opener. Both of these teams should be pretty comfortable here.
Yep, 100%. This, I definitely think having, obviously there's only pissed round, so everyone's on the same eco, but whoever loses pissed round isn't at too much of a disadvantage for this map, because you can still force omens, and it's mainly a lot of close range encounters where having maybe a Viper or even an Oriole won't change a lot more than having just an omen with the quick, faster fire rate.
Little drone coming in there, getting quickly taken out by Jakub. An Ensign to slow down any advancement coming through the breach doorway, but so far, pretty slow rollout for Ivy. They're just taking a bit of a methodical approach, not overextending, not getting too deep. They did open up the hatch to basement, though, as Tesco and Gradual both tucked in here and waiting to see, again, when is this push coming? Right now, it's kind of just poking and prodding by Ivy, looking for some picks, maybe.
Yep, I think they were taking it slow at the start because Rise did start on the other side of the map, trying to clear out any roamers on the top floor that would come in, obviously kill. It would be round 6 in Goblin pushing the garage hatch, but no one's upstairs. Everyone seems to be either on site or just fully downstairs here. So Ivy have taken all the space they need for the push they want to commit to.
Tesco's going to hold down that front line. Static emitter going to be a big thorn in the side. The pistol round static emitter is really effective just because they're so hard to get rid of with your pistol. So going to be a tough one to root out there. Tucked into that hallway. Nasty. Maybe a nade would do the trick. And no, nade doesn't catch out that static emitter. The hatch drop from Rise, though, does get one. Tesco finds one of their own. The smoke's going to blind Tesco from being able to see Rise, and a nade comes in that doesn't quite catch the doorway. Jakub covering Tesco on the backside, scoops up that kill, and we're into an all-out battle here over site as Rise pines Sergeant. We're doing a 3v3.
Yep, 3v3 here. Both held basically around the same here. Rise gets headshot by, it was, I believe, Sergeant on the flank there, but Rise does get the kill. Now 3v2. With both walls open, not much space for Mad and Tesco to hide on site here. So plant should be kind of free for Ivy, which it is. 3v2 now with the plant down. 45 seconds for Chaotic to make a move.
Retake's going to be pretty tough here with this team tucked in and back. Full HP on both Goblin and Quinn. But doesn't matter with the duo. Goblin catches one. There's Quinn. Scooping up another, the swing out, and Quinn's still alive. Tesco full HP. They didn't double stack Quinn. Tesco pushes out, and Quinn finds the trade. Ends up taking the round, but if this is how things are going to go, IV is going to have a tough series ahead of them because Chaotic definitely coming to play and making that one challenging.
Yep, you see Quinn heard the footsteps from the storage there once they got that first pick, and he just hid behind that generator box, just perfectly forcing Tesco to either run to the EMP, give it a tap to force him out, or, run outside and try and take that 1v1. But being spotted makes it definitely a lot easier for Quinn to just get that kill for free. That's 1-0 to Ivy now, winning that pissed around on an attack. But like I said, being a bit lower on eco here might not be the biggest deal. It depends how good each team is with util, especially these new flashes as well can add a lot to just knowing where someone is for the push, and also if you can push after you flash it or not.
Yeah, and let's talk about those flashes because it's a big update that hit relatively recently. Players have had maybe a week or so to play with it, and we've already seen metas being changed entirely because these flashbangs are a way more effective tool than they used to be. The blind is longer. I believe when they hit their opponent, it slows them, and it gives you a hit indicator that the flashbang hit somebody. So it's really almost a scouting tool at this point, more so than an effective push tool, but it's also an effective push tool.
Yep, 100%. It's even more effective for pushing now, seeing as if you know, say you're pushing garage here, like Ivy have 3 people stacked up on, they know someone's in garage and they throw that flash in and don't get that noise for the blind, they know that person isn't blind instead of, you know, it being clear. So it can be used to know if you can push, if you use another one, or if you have to be careful when you're pushing. It's a lot of different things that come from just one piece of util being thrown.
A lot of grenades coming in. They do hit, and Rise swings out to catch the kill. A nice bit of coordination there to force the effort into Garage. A lot of utility, though, just to get rid of Jacob. And I guess that's what you want to do, right? You want to have maybe a defender that's extended out that does draw out all that utility. So when it comes time for them to push into sight, you're not getting barraged with flashbangs.
Yep, straight up. It seems like Jacob that's exactly what he was planning to do there. He didn't even have a Omen or anything. He had a Jesper with a sight and a suppressor, so he was just trying to waste as much time as possible and use that util instead of trying to even focus on getting any kills, which he done perfectly. No flash. Sorry, I believe 1 flash left for Ivy, and no instants or grenades, just 2 foams and a stim.
Yeah, utility kind of gone. Going to come down to rifles and Omens, or not rifles, SMGs, because everyone's got them. Trading back and forth, the bubbles scoop up Gradual. Nasty trying to find more, peeking through. Goblin going to push forward as well, and the defense going to take a little bit of a step back, kind of allowing some control to be taken, where they may pop out and retake. Mad over the top, looking for some shots, going to get tagged by Quinn. Nasty also putting some shots down, and Rise going to put the plant. Can't quite fully plant yet. Has to pop up to fend off. What is the counter push? Sargent scoops up one. Where's Quinn? On the front line, they're not here. They're watching for a flank that's not coming. It's Sargent here, holding things down with Mad, and now there's a 1v2 in favor of Chaotic.
Yep, 20 seconds left on the clock now. They know EMP's place. They know Quinn has to push them with these 18 seconds. HC's not looking too good for anyone right now, but 15 seconds left. Quinn has to make a move here, and Chaotic know this. 10 seconds. I don't think this EMP's 1 tick away, but yep, Sergeant just putting all the pressure on every single angle. Quinn can be there non-stop shooting it. He can't push anywhere. No, and he's just 2 bullets away, 2 or 3 bullets away from dying there. That was very well played defense from Chaotic. Just a good trades all around, good damage poking. It's exactly what you need to do with Omens right there.
And you know, it's tough, right? Because, well, I might be sorry if I'm loud, folks. It's tough because I'm really loud. It's tough because you end up. Oh, sorry, I lost my train of thought as I was adjusting my audio. Apologies for the audio level boost there, folks. Just trying to get a little bit louder, but either way, a very good effort there from the Chaotic side. And yeah, I think what they had there is that little mistake of Quinn not crashing back with the rest of the team, watching for the flank, anticipating what was going to be a flank that never came from Chaotic. They just kind of stayed stacked on defense. And if they had Quinn there, they may have been a bit of a better shot on them taking that overall objective space.
Yep, 100%. Sergeant wouldn't have been able to push in the open that easily, killing Rise, who was planting there. But Ivy did open that wall in to the other side in the piano room, which just made the flank even more of an option for Ivy to worry about, seeing it's just a faster way to get there instead of having to go through the entirety of theatre as well. So a little bit of a blunder, but you know, he took a gamble if someone was going to be there, and unfortunately there wasn't.
Looking to see if we're going to get this push in here. As a little bit of a site pressure coming through. Foam does go down. Alarm going to give away some info that this push is coming through, and you can just see the barrage of guesswork of pre-fire of wall bangs trying to connect, and eventually Nasty does end up going down in the chaos. So an early pick that sets up the defense nicely. Chaotic's looking good here on their defensive half.
100%. Sergeant knew exactly what Nasty was doing there, opening that side window. Knew he was going to go down to the grass and throw in flash and all the util he could, because it's just free util to back sight without having to you know, put yourself in harm's way from the wall, but Sergeant peeks out knowing he's going to be there and just gets that free kill, which might even be some extra PC. Yeah, no util down. But that is obviously a death for Ivy already, making it 5v4 with only a minute 10 left.
Nice nade with utility. Flashbang on the backline catches one. Jakub, a second flash. That's a good one. Everybody blind, but no push, no pressure, no one acting off of that flashbang to do much. An Ensign on the backline catches Rise and slows them down, finds the kill. The Ensign's also a bit more effective, a bit buffed. As the EMP plant comes in, nades and utility come flying. Gooblin can't get the plant in time, and Mad catches the nade kill.
5v2 now. That util being perfectly placed on Rise, so he's just not able to escape from that at all. Gooblin being a little bit hesitant on the plant after that, since his person that's meant to be covering is dead. So now it's 5v2. EMP is only one tick away, so Rand is going to pick this up. A 5v1 now. Gets one, and then he gets traded out. Almost a flawless for Chaotic right there, but they're taking up round 2. Getting this, well, not early lead, but getting that one extra point above. And I believe they will have enough money for 5 rifles next round, seeing as Jakub bought into it but didn't die and didn't lose it. That's a good start for Chaotic, it seems, this half.
Eco management coming in here is something that we've seen teams kind of differ on how they want to manage it. Right? We see, I think yesterday on the NA side, we saw a Jesper round, and I feel like I hadn't seen a Jesper round in a while, like a full eco. Round 2. A lot of teams opting nowadays in those second and third rounds to go Omens, to buy into the SMGs. And it kind of prolongs the rifle phase to now, round 4, where everyone is able to buy in. With both teams going 2-1 and the way they manage their economies, you know, these teams are pretty experienced in the way of making sure they have the dollars they need to be effective. But this is kind of do or die. Look at both sides. Well, I suppose for IV, it's do or die. There's a little bit of a buffer on the side of Chaotic right now.
Yep. So Gooblin deciding to go for the Oriole there. So IV have more util for the attack. Definitely the play here. Once again, just like Factory, it being an older map, you know, having this util, you've had forever to practice this. So util matters a lot on this map, and that's what they've decided to go for. And then obviously you've got Chaotic with all the money they want for util. So anything they want, they have. Which I'm assuming they've probably got door blockers on the entirety of A. They do, and they've got, you know, all the nades and sins and smokes they want here.
There's we do get into the breach here. Nobody on the outside of Garage holding this down. They're going to find 0 resistance. This is kind of interesting. They're really letting them take B, or at least the outside of it.
I think it's once again just to do with these new flashes. You saw Jakub do it on that second round, but he done it with Jesper, knowing he was going to die, and he was just trying to waste the util. So I think they know it's just such a dangerous place to try and hold that it's not worth, you know, even risking, just to waste that util, even risking a life of the player. But you've got Rise down the middle stairs again. No, yeah, he did go there last time, sorry. To flank onto the garage, but obviously no one holding it. 4 people play on site, and then you got Grad upstairs going for a late flank onto garage eventually, which could actually go wrong, seeing as their flank watch is round 6, holding theatre and not the stairs. But a slow rotate coming in for Ivy, maybe crouch walking round to A. But Chaotic are just aware of this. You've got Sergeant sent up on the table with Mad already in the corner. They are fully ready for this. That Ivy have spent too long not making enough noise here. So yeah, it's going to be a hard push for them to do.
Suspicious. You're like, well, what's going on here? We're not experiencing what is normally a lot more pressure, a lot more of shots through the walls, more utility coming in at the garage. And now, as they break down this door blocker, that's going to give away their position, and an instant immediately comes out. It does show this offense that, hey, we're here, we're defending A site. There's the wall bang onto Gradual. See you later. Another pickup for Gradual on the backside from Rand. And they're a threat on the stairs. The instant comes out to slow them down, and they need to now push because they're getting pressured. That push forces them in to the defense that's ready and waiting as Quinn finds one. Rise and Nasty having a tough time breaking through this shell.
Yeah, that was just a perfect flank from Grad there. Holding the angle on Gooblin to get that kill. Pushing up the stairs and then getting an even tighter angle into Ran. Unfortunately, he does get picked off by Rise there. But, yep, Sergeant getting the kill onto Nasty, no, and he's at the door blocker. And then Mad getting the refrag onto Rise. That was a perfect round played by Chaotic with the Grad's flank and then them just being so aware of the possibility that Ivy's going to do the rotate there, just because they didn't cut, they cut noise too early maybe, they didn't make enough, they just cut too much noise. That wall being foamed and not opened instantly is kind of a little bit of a big giveaway. So now 3-1 up to Chaotic with Econ just money's rolling in for them with Ivy having to do, you know, a half buy here, still being able to buy enough for next round, but, you know, not going to have too much firepower or maybe not enough util for this round. Still, 100% chance for Vipers and RCPs to win this round. So always a possibility, especially with a team like Ivy, number 2. They can definitely pull this off.
And especially for maybe a team like Chaotic, who doesn't necessarily have a ton of experience battling a team at the top like Ivy or Acer. They may not be familiar with the fact that when you do get a lead that you can't really settle. You know, I think a lot of teams end up kind of getting too comfortable with a 2-point lead in round 5 like this, and then it ends up leading to these big comeback rounds. And that could very well happen here as we do get into the top 8 single elimination bracket. Loser in this best of 3 has their season over. Winner goes to the semifinals.
Yep, 100%. Just like you said, lower teams, when they start beating the higher rated teams, it gets in their head. It's good to have confidence, but you don't want to have too much confidence where, you know, it pushes you to do something stupid just to try and get that even bigger lead. But this round, Chaotic need all the confidence they can get here. Flash coming in and does blind Grad. Second one isn't. They are spamming the flashes on Grad right here. Second one doesn't flash him. Oh no, it does, sorry. Didn't get the notification there, but Tesco wallbangs him. And Fran almost gets picked off by shooting his legs. But 4-4 now, with Ran being low HP, Goobin has got Stim. So much util going onto site, which just not enough util to maybe push the actual site this round again. They've got, I think, 1 flash left, and that nade was crazy. That damage is big right there. Ran being 6 HP, Quinn being half, 4v4, but health isn't looking too healthy for Ivy. Another wallbang coming through. Another wallbang.
It is so dangerous, the Marui. It has so much power that it punches through the walls and is still an effective tool in doing damage. And so Mad found 2 through the wall. Tesco holding the corner, waiting for Nasty to peek out. Is Nasty going to be taking these shots and connecting? No, Tesco goes down low on HP, and now Quinn, with a door blocker in their way, is trying to hit flashbangs to the backline. Finds a crazy shot onto Mad, kind of blind firing around the corner there, but it's a 1v3 in front of them.
Yep, 1v3, 24 HP. He did pick up Goobin's Stim, but it's probably not going to be charged for another 10-15 seconds, so I have to wait a little bit longer. Oh, no, mind, it's charged now. But yeah, 3v1, full HP for Chaotic with 3 rifles here.
Jeez.
And another headshot coming in through the wall. Oh my god. Quinn back down to 1 HP. That Stim definitely has no more charges. He pushes through, gets a headshot onto Sergeant, but does get picked off. That was... Yeah, that was just another great defense by Chaotic there. Yeah.
That was a little chaotic. Yeah, that was...
Yeah, 100%.
Ivy just a little. I mean, it feels like in some ways Ivy's kind of getting warmed up right now. You know, like we were talking about, Gooblin's coming off of a Orion Drift Ignition Cup win on the EU side just last weekend, and now going into this weekend trying to maintain the Ivy brand and push for a Breachers win. It's a lot to be able to manage and be ready for. And you're seeing Chaotic. Maybe they've just been strictly playing and scrimming the last week or 2 weeks and getting prepared for this. But either way, their defensive half is going well, and that's something important to remember too, right? I mean, this is just this is the first half of round 1 in this best of 3. So Chaotic are certainly leading the defensive portion, but who knows what happens when we swap sides and they have to go on the attack.
Yep, 100%. You've got. I think Chaotic have bought into just extra rifles here as well. You saw how much wallbang damage they've done last round. Like, I can see 2 guns in connector, RCP and a Marui in connector with a Viper on B site as well. They're going to go for even more damage here, along with Ivy. Looking like a split push right now, but don't know. We got the EMP on Hatch here, so we don't fully know where the push is going to be, but maybe possible another rotate type push here with Rise going for the late bedroom flank. So this one will be interesting.
They're opening up everything on all sides, like you said. They opened up all of the main attack doors. The 2 to A, the 1 to the side of A, the 1 outside of B. The hatch is cracked open. They're just kind of seeing if there's anybody set up in a forward position on the Chaotic side, and they're not finding anyone. There's no flanker, there's no rotator. Everybody is tucked into sight way deep to avoid utility, to avoid nades, and they're almost playing this tug-of-war of, okay, you throw utility, we back off. When you're done throwing it, we'll come forward, and just back and forth.
Nasty swinging into Shower there, getting one pick onto Mad, but Tesco doing a little wiggling to get the refrag, so back down to 4v4. Sergeant getting a pick on the Rise, who was trying to get that late flank, but he's still holding bedroom. There's no reason for him not to still be holding hallway there. There's not been any noise anywhere else, really. You've got kind of noise being made everywhere, so all the defenders are just going to stick to holding the current only 3 places where they can push, since no walls are open. But they've got that B wall foam, so but EMP's getting thrown over to A, so they're going to blow B wall. Gooblin's going to put some pressure on, I guess, and then it's going to be an A push. Seems like it, but not much util. 1 instant for which Gooblin has, so I'm assuming he's going to instant connector, but the plant with Quinn getting wall banged is going to be hard for Ivy to do here. But slowly walking back now with the EMP, really. So maybe it's yeah.
Just keep...
Yeah, that not mad, sorry, chaotic's damage. Oh my god, just wall bang everywhere. 4v1 now. It's looking very bad for Ivy for the first half of the game, but 5-1 curse, we've heard of it. Definitely possible to come back here. But Grad finishing this half strong, 5-1. Wow, that was very just chaotic side of this first half of the game.
Yeah, it's map 1, and Chaotic are playing strong here today on defense. We side swap after 6 rounds in the game of Breachers, if you're unfamiliar. So Chaotic now go on the attack, and IV defend for the next 6 rounds, if there is that many left. All Chaotic need is 2. The first team to 7 rounds wins the map, and this is a best of 3, so we play at least 2 maps, potentially 3 this afternoon in this best of 3 series. We have another best of 3 immediately after this one. That'll be with the teams Valiant, EU, and Niffin, and those are seeds 3 and 5, and I think that could be also as equally as exciting as this is, because again, this is the underdogs coming out on top right now. We look at the matchup history. Chaotic seeded 7th during the regular season with a 7-8 record, and IV 8-3. We've talked on it, we've touched on it. It's a little bit of a different IV roster than they've been playing with in the regular season. We'll see if it impacts their defensive half at all.
Yep, and like we said, not just a different roster, but once again, pointing out Gooblin. I feel like I'm picking on him, but I'm not, I swear.
No, it's just
he's obviously just done, yeah, very, very successful in OD, but having to play this game. He might not be adapted to the meta that's just changed in the past few weeks of Breaches. Nade coming in, not even doing some damage on Nasty, but it looks like they are trying to do the garage hold, unlike Chaotic were doing. Instead of just giving up the garage space, they have got 2 people holding it, then Rise holding the laundry room. So they're definitely trying to not give Chaotic any space here, which was the opposite of what Ivy done. Another nade coming in, doing a lot of damage to Nasty there.
Oh,
Still gets a pick though.
Nice kill there. The instant slows down the push through into garage, and over the top, a couple of picks do come in for Chaotic. Low HP. 1 HP, matter of fact, for Sergeant, so not a lot there. Gooblin will clean that up. Quinn tries to swing for the double, but gets caught out by Jacob and Mad. So we're into a 3v2 with Gooblin on the edge and only 1 on site for defense.
Yep, and Chaotic do have that info right now that Gooblin was on the flank. So they do know only 1 is on site, but they give enough time to rotate. So now 3v2, both Ivy members on site. Jacob's half HP. Still looking good for Chaotic here, but you know, they do still have to push site. A minute 10 left. No use. Oh no, sorry. One smoke for Ivy here. They can smoke off an entire angle and maybe just play a bit aggressive to try and get that 1 extra pick and make the numbers even here.
Cracked both walls. A minute left. Adds in a peek and go down. Nice pickup from Rise. Gooblin peeks out to check if anyone's doing any pushing through the doorway, and there's a defensive smoke coming in.
Yep, but Ivy, Rise being a little bit scared of the rotate going in because Chaotic were just being very, very silent there. So maybe they thought they were trying to copy a strat that Ivy done, but maybe they were doing this to bait. So right now, still 30 seconds left and they're staying very still. I don't know if they're trying to bait out someone to peek for a kill, or they just don't fully know what to do here. Because they have heard the Jesper on site, so they should really know the flankers back there. But once again, having, you know, all hacks as a spectator definitely gives you that hindsight. Gooblin getting 1 on Jacob to the Jesper, and then Grad getting the refrag and then the kill on Rise. Oh, wow, that was a great kill onto Rise there, swinging out, trying to stop him from even being able to get the plant off, or even start the plant. But unfortunately, well, fortunately for Chaotic, unfortunately for Ivy, it is match point now, 6-1 with the econ advantage once again. This could be the end of map 1 if the attack stays strong. for Chaotic here. That was a really good push. They pushed together, which is exactly what you want to do on pistol rounds. Stick together. Don't give them a chance to, unlike Vezins, you can't, you obviously can't just spam and get 2 headshots instantly. You have to get 2 headshots with the Spectral, and that's hard to do on 2 separate people shooting at you. That's well played by Chaotic right there.
Very well played. And again, we'll look at that clutch double kill. A huge clutch for Gradual. Going 5 and 4 off that. They were negative KD. And it goes to show you, you just got to step up 1 round and you can end up putting your team in a really good position as a Chaotic underdogs in map 1 looking to take Hideout from IV.
Yep, this is definitely a lot different than I was expecting. I was expecting a closer matchup, but once again, map 1, IV warming up. There, anything can happen map 2. Nothing, not over until it's over whatsoever. We're looking like a fake onto a B here with 3 people sitting on the A window. For Chaotic here. Goblin already getting baited over to B. A is now completely open. This could be this could be bad for Ivy here. Yep, they're fully convinced it is a B push, even just with small amount of noise made. And Rise pushes out trying to get the kill. Does a lot of damage to Sergeant, but doesn't get the pick, making it 5v4 now. And then they start the push onto A. They have full site control. Instant comes through. Trying to run through it to get the pick. Unfortunately dies. 5v3, 5v2. Grad's just going off right now. Grad is just insane right now. Getting all the kills he wants. Tesco pushing in, and they finish the map. Map 1, 7-1 to Chaotic. What a beautiful push. The bait onto B, and then just full rush onto A, stopping them from rotating whatsoever. Grad getting all the picks, going up to 8 kills now. What a game for Chaotic right there. Absolutely just amazingly played by them.
I mean, at this point, I'm starting to think maybe we're not even going to see the old classic matchup that we're so used to in the Breachers competitive space, Acer versus IV. That's kind of like where my mind was going of like, oh, that might be what happens, again here in EU. But at this point, maybe even Sunset Ravens are going to have a chance of dethroning Acer next weekend. We'll have to see, of course. But it's a good start for Chaotic that they managed to take a map off of IV in such commanding fashion, 7-1. I gotta wonder if maybe a server swap or a new map is going to be enough for IV to sort of bounce back, but definitely not the ideal starter for them in their single elimination bracket round. They cannot afford to lose one more map or they are done. Their season's over, and this Chaotic squad will advance on to the semifinals to go up against the winner of our next best of 3 immediately after this, Valiant's EU versus Niffin. So we have a lot of action in front of us here as we do take a quick look at some of these replays. Some big clutches and big plays today already, Pixel.
Yeah, like I said, was not expecting that at all. Everyone, well, sorry, a lot of people on Chaotic right there kind of just popped off. You got Tesco, Sergeant, both with 10 kills, Mad with 9, Grad with 8, Jacob with 1 and 3. But I mean, you can't really get kills when your teammates are just going in and slamming everyone there. That's not his fault at all. Everyone is doing their job here, and they've done it perfectly. But it just means they go into map 2 knowing they have 1 map on them, so they can obviously not give IV any space, but they don't have to worry about being completely knocked out of this whole tournament just by losing that next map. So they can definitely a little bit of nerves knocked off of them knocked off of them right now.
Imagine we may be going into a timeout of sorts. We'll see if we can gather the details from the players down on the field, because we are now just waiting for map number 2 to begin. And yeah, we are getting a timeout called by IV. They need to pause here, Pixel, and reassess what's been going on with them in this initial map, and if they can bounce back and sort of become the IV we are expecting in map 2.
Yep, 100%. I want to see a bounce back here, but obviously I want to see Chaotic go through. Like this matchup, I think should be a lot closer. Map 2, we'll see how it goes. I think we might be in for a closer match. I hope we're in for a closer match, because Ivy have been showing a lot of strength this season, like a lot of strength this season. It'd be a shame for them to go out like this, and I think they'll come back. They'll talk about what happened. They'll definitely bring a lot more of a challenge next map, I think.
Big shout out to everyone tuning in, hanging out, and enjoying the action this afternoon. Please do hit the thumbs up button on the stream. It helps a lot. It boosts the viewership. It helps get more people into the network. Please subscribe to the channel. We've seen in the last 2 months over 2,000 subscribers join the VRML network, and that's because of all of the great support from you and essentially everything we've been doing with centralizing VR esports across the board. If you missed stuff, if you missed content, we've had a lot of it over these last few weekends, from Veil postseason to Breachers postseason to Pavlov postseason to partnered streams with Dash League to the Ignition Cup for all of OCE, EU, and NA. There's a lot on the network to watch and tune into, and we would appreciate it if you subscribed and stuck around, because we're going to keep putting out more content. Like we've been talking about, next weekend, the grand finals for Breachers EU, and then we get into qualifier tournaments. If enough teams register, we'll be having online qualifiers for VRML Con, where teams that win will be able to go to Arizona State University at the Media Experience Immersive Center and play live on stage. If you want to be one of those teams and you're able to go to the event, I recommend you head on over to vrmlcon.com and pick up a ticket and register your team for the event. There is there's a lot of people that are picking up tickets and registering their teams right now, but there are also some leagues and some tournaments that if you do register, you very well could be one of the 4 teams that's going to be on one of 2 stages and playing for $5,000 in cash split across 4 different tournaments for a total of $20,000 in cash on the weekend. It's a huge con. It's a huge tournament. It might be one of our biggest in-person events yet. It's definitely going to be one of our best produced events yet. I'm really looking forward to it. It's going to be live on the network here too, so if you want to catch that, the tournament will be July 25th to the 27th. The qualifiers for a lot of these tournaments happening over the course of this next month. So again, a lot of content on the network. We really appreciate all of the support from everybody that's been tuning in, but we are going to go to a 2-3-minute break, and when we come back, we'll be jumping into map number 2 for this best of 3 to see if Chaotic are going to dethrone IV this afternoon. So don't go anywhere. More action coming up. Good.
Prepare to
Only
start.
Baron left alive. Where is Baron? In the spawn. Can somebody
Go.
Spud in the bottom going absolutely crazy, getting the 2K.
Match point.
Welcome back, everybody, to the Breachers VRML Season 4 EU Top 8 Single Elimination Bracket Day 2. My name is Nightfire with 2 E's. I'm joined by my co-caster Pixel Player. And we're getting ready for map number 2 in this best of 3 series between IV and Chaotic. If you did just tune in, you've missed a interesting map 1 to say the least. Pixel with a dominant performance from this Chaotic squad, overcoming IV and winning 7-1.
Yep, once again, completely unexpected. At least from my eyes, I didn't see a win that what's it called? That dominating win that much from either team there. Honestly, I thought it was gonna be a little bit closer. But IV taking that 10-minute timeout after first map, which honestly I would too. It's, you know, you getting 7-1. You always want to find out what caused that, because it's not like it was a close game to where, you know, small mistakes made you lose one or two of those extra rounds. There was definitely a few outlying things that they probably figured out in this 10 minutes. They have subbed in Extrius for, I assume, Goblin now. So Ross is a little bit more different, and I'm assuming maybe they work more well together, because you saw a few of those pushes on attack where just Ivy weren't fully coordinated, which can happen if you're not used to playing with all the players on your team, and if everyone doesn't play the same place, it can definitely throw a few like one or two of the players off, which leads to picks coming through for the defense.
Yeah, and we actually caught a little highlight of you there too, from playing just the other day on Acer's side. But yeah, a couple of big picks. The clutches are key, obviously, in a moment like this. When the pressure is on too, can a team execute? Will players step up? And sometimes you do see, these players, when it comes down to postseason time, play a lot better, honestly, than they do during the regular season, because they have that pressure on their back, and that makes them a little bit more focused. It dials them in. You see big multi-kills, like we saw there on the Chaotic side. Mad finding huge wall bangs. Like, it's just really dialed in, I guess, to the point where these teams are really focused. They're locked in here, and they are putting their best foot forward in the EU region. So, I mean, if Chaotic plays like this, I'm definitely interested to see how they'll do in the semifinals and maybe finals if they can make their way through all of that. So, at the very least, if you're a team that's potentially going to be going up against them, which you are, Pixel, you got to be thinking that Chaotic's looking better than even you. Yeah, they're looking strong here this afternoon. So they're definitely a team that's going to, I think, be able to compete here in this EU's finals.
Yep, 100%. Like I think it was week 11. I don't know if it was week 11 or week 12 where we played a match against them. And other than that, it's been scrims, and obviously you're not gonna let alone try as hard, but you're not gonna show all of your stuff to people in scrims, especially if you have a chance of going against them eventually.
Yeah.
So they don't always mean anything, and definitely all have to look a lot more like we just like all the other teams, we do VOD reviews, so we'll definitely be looking back at matches on whoever wins this 100%. Yeah. Preparing for anything. We don't know who's gonna win this yet. Still, just because Chaotic's in the lead doesn't mean it's over, as we know. Best of 3, like you said, first of 2 maps.
I think Ivy is maybe Goblin could only play for a map, but because again of these roster issues we discussed at the start of this event, they may be going into this next map with only 4. Maybe Goblin will connect halfway through, but we're diving into map number 2, and it's heading us into ship. We got IV opening up on the defense and Chaotic opening up on the attack. Not exactly what I anticipated, but maybe at least on defense, the bot isn't too bad to have. Still, though, you don't want to be down a player in the postseason like this, as IV, very well could be entering into this 4v5 for map 2 with a stacked Chaotic offense coming in, an advantage round at the very least here.
Yep, not just a full roster for Chaotic here, but their confidence is at an all-time high here. Definitely 7-1 in the number 2 team. No matter the roster they have, it's always a big confidence boost. So now even being 5v4, as long as they, like we said last game, don't let it get to their head too much, they can take an early lead on this if that player doesn't connect back early enough. But it does look like an A push split. Usually the default for this site. With all the Ivy players playing on site as well. Definitely kind of easy to get onto this site. Not many places where defenders can hold everywhere at once, or one instant can block off so much for the defenders to push it. With Grad taking some damage at the start as well, so it's a bit more even now. This bot gets taken down. Yep, 5v4 for Chaotic here.
Oh, yeah, forget it's a bot sometimes, but a little bit of info, and the push coming in. Nice flash to the backline, catches Nasty the nade, half health. More utility comes barreling in, and Chaotic locking in an EMP plant over the top, getting defense to pick off the retake as Ran 6 team kills Rise in the chaos. I don't think that was intended, but maybe they were really mad at Rise on the defense. No, I can see in their emotions there. They didn't mean to do that. But a 1v3 now as EMP's playing. This one's going to be tough for Ran.
playing together on pistol round once again. We saw that any kill that came in was traded. I mean, definitely Ran trading a kill definitely helped there. So 2 people left on the counter side make that into a 1-0 with the bot still not connected for Ivy. Ran is not too pleased with himself there. I didn't fully
Quinn.
see the kill. Was Rise in the way, or was it just like a flick to Rise that
It was
that
a
got him killed?
flick to Rise. Like Rand deliberately flicked and headshot Rise.
Good shot.
Yeah. It was a little rough.
Oh my.
But IV are fully rostered now here with Quinn. Still maybe setting up his play space, getting a little cleaning around the general area so that he can move and maneuver as he needs to, crouch as he needs to, and defend this objective as he needs to. And the pistol round isn't everything, obviously. Chaotic are looking good, though. 8-1 overall on the score line. This IV squad needs to just get back into the rhythm here for map 2.
Yep, 100%. Once again, that's 3 for 3 for pistol rounds for Chaotic now. We're seeing the same as, I believe it was Ragnarok yesterday that went for, pretty sure won every pistol round yesterday. Unfortunately, didn't take home the victory, so they did get kicked out. But it's always that, not just the round advantage, but the eco advantage for the next round. Winning that pistol rounds can be so important for some games. But we're seeing, once again, a bit of a meta push. Once again, we're doing, not Infirmary, sorry, bunks. With 4 people stacked up on that, with Grad droning, I'm assuming, watching the flank on the stairs, with Extrius playing behind the box, maybe getting 1 or 2 off if she didn't get droned there, which I don't think she did. Oh, 4 HP for Tesco right there. Very good that someone else was watching, because I don't think he would have got that 180. So 5v4 already. Oh, Sergeant getting picked off from the hallway by Rad, but Mad getting the refrag 4v3.
Rise is on a flank, slow and steady on the back line there. You can see them up on that top floor, but maybe too slow. They got to get up here as Gradual picks off Nasty. Quinn's the only one on site.
Yeah, 4v1 now. No util for Quinn, so we can't even slow down the push for Rise. If Chaotic decide to go right now, they're definitely in a good position. But you got Jacob. Oh, was just watching the stairs, but did stop for a second. If they open, oh, he's still watching it. Almost picks off Rise. 3v2 now. But they know only one's on site, so this is where they're just going to full send it onto site and get this plant down. Good flash on. Oh, and Mad, just not even let me speak, Mad. Come on. 3v1, and then Grad gets to pick on Rise. That was very well played by Celtic there. Learning that one was on site. And just, full send it. Got that plant down, flash, and then Mad getting that pick. Another well played attack round by Chaotic, rather than bringing it to a 2-0 lead off the start.
Yeah, they are in good shape right now. 9-1 overall on that score line at this stage, and it is ship, so if Ivy can get on the board here, it'd be nice, but they are going up against a relatively kitted offense, limited on overall utility, it seems, and so you do see Mad and Gradual both adjusting their buys. They were going to go into rifles, but then everyone was going to be into rifles, and then nobody would have money. They'd have no money left over and no utility. So instead, it's a team chatter that ends up with 3 omens, 2 rifles, and a bunch of utility and a bunch of backup cash. Chaotic are playing this pretty safe, I would argue, as they have a lot of cash on the back line in case they lose a few rounds.
Yeah, they done the same on Hideout last time. Granted, they did lose the second round, so they didn't even have the choice to buy into it. But because of the, I think they.
No, yeah, round 4 was our fold buy.
Okay, yeah. But we've seen Chaotic has been pretty smart with their econ this game. Both maps already, and Util coming out already onto Sergeant with a nade and instant. A little bit of damage on it, but Ivy haven't got much util to use off this. Only, I think, just another nade. Another nade comes through, so 1 instant and 2 smokes left for Ivy, with not much done with it. That's a lot of money just to slow down a push by a few seconds, but you never know. Those few seconds can definitely be the game changer for an entire map. No, entire round, sorry.
Nice nade to the back line, catches a static emitter, so another bit of utility eliminated from the IV side, but at the cost of some from the Chaotic side, as they definitely are setting up for an A-site push here. Everyone piled in, the Omens, the Vipers, the Omens, the Vezens, and the Marui stacked up outside of A. I'm surprised Matt isn't the one holding the Marui. They've been finding a lot of great shots and wall bangs with that this afternoon, but it's in the hands of Sargent.
Yep. And you got round 6 holding the lone player, holding the possible free rotate, but an instant comes in to even stop Ran from pushing up. So they're going to be committing to the A here. Jacob gets 1 kill to backside. Mad gets an instant kill onto Rise. Extras pushes through the smoke, gets picked up by Jacob making noise there. Ran, oh no, sorry, Nasty gets killed onto Gradual, but Mad picking up 2 kills there. That was all over so quick. Both teams got aggressive there, but Chaotic only losing 1 player, making it to a 3-0 lead already. It's a good start of the first half for them, but now we see Ivy with stronger weapons for their side. It seems like 4 rifles along with 1 Viper. Sorry about that. But four rifles definitely helps, especially on this side. Vezin's a lot stronger on this map than Marui's. I like to say, at least. It's different for everyone. It's preference really, but you usually have a lot more closer range battles, so having that extra fire rate can definitely help you, especially if you're playing against Chaotic, who seem to be pushing as a pack right now. You could get that, lucky extra shot on, not lucky. These players are skilled, so that skilled flick onto a second player, and just getting those multi kills that we saw last game as well.
It is a tough space to be in if you're IV right now. Trying to bounce back down a map 7-1, now down on ship 3-0 on your defensive side. It's just not where I imagine Ivy expected to be this afternoon. Or maybe it is. Maybe they were just kind of gonna see how Chaotic was gonna perform today. Maybe they're surprised with how well Chaotic is executing this afternoon, because like you said, there's not a ton of opportunities maybe presented during the regular season where Chaotic's challenged a top-tier team like Acer or IV. So, you look at the past matchup history, IV really did well against them in regular season, but with a bit of a different roster, and Chaotic obviously locked in on the postseason. It's a tough challenge here for map 2.
Rise and round 6 playing together upstairs, holding this hatch drop, but Rise, I think, tried to play a little bit of Sugar to spin on grab there, but unfortunately getting picked off by Mad. Nasty getting a double kill nade with round 6 flanking on the hatch, 1v3. EMP's placed but not planted, and I don't know Ryan's upstairs, so maybe Mad's going to touch this plant and get that into a 1v2, but definitely Chaotic playing together here still. Like you see, Mad's not doing anything too much right now. He's waiting for his team to help him here, which is a smart play. They're playing smart. Rand's getting ready to drop. Just bad timing, unlucky, and then gets picked up by Mad. Mad dropping, I think, he's 9-0 right now, but saving Grad's life that round and then getting 2 or 3 kills on the entry. That was just another really well played attack by Chaotic.
I mean, Pixel Acer obviously looked good against underdogs. It was number 1 seed versus number 8 seed. Chaotic are looking as good against IV here. It is the number 7 seed versus the number 2 seed, and Chaotic are just outperforming this afternoon. They are really on point. They're in sync. They're hitting their shots. Their utility is good. They're leaning into the new meta, the flashbangs we're seeing coming out and connecting and enabling certain pushes. But even then, I think they could lean into it more. We're still not seeing either team really go super heavy on the flashes like we did see yesterday with a couple of games for both on EU and NA. It's definitely a still developing meta, if you will, but one that I think we're going to continue to see be used here in this postseason this weekend and next weekend.
Yep, we only had a few days to adapt to this, so definitely the teams that played more, not even just in scrims, but practicing it themselves, definitely an advantage here. But we've got an entirety of next week for both the semi-finalist teams for NA and EU to practice. So that semi-finals you might see a lot more flash, like a lot. Your screen might be white a lot more next week if you're playing.
Yeah, I'll have to stay out of first-person view so we can see the action, but. Should be fun nonetheless. I'd love to see those flashes coming in and connecting and being an effective tool again. I don't think I've ever really seen flashes used much in Game of Breachers, so it's fun to see as Tesco scoops up Nasty trying to get aggressive, and off to the races is Chaotic into a 5v4.
Yep, I do want to point out, I think you're still on the
the
matchup screen. Yep.
Thank you. That's why we got you looking at it.
Yeah,
Missed a couple of kills, but no
picking up
worries.
the refrag there. Yeah, it's all good. 4v3, round 6 on the flank here. I think we've got Sergeant watching it. Yep, he is. They are so on point right now. They always have someone watching this flank. You've seen it every single round. Ivy's at the flank. Trip, yeah, Grad doesn't even get killed by Trips. Oh, another team kill coming in top floor. They know Rise is on the flank now, 2v1. Still definitely winnable for Rise. Gets that blind fire. 1v1 for 30 HP. Rise has a chance to get the first round on the board for Ivy here. Definitely can be the start of something new. Sergeant rotating B though. Into Rise possibly. Ooh,
Yeah.
let's see how this goes here.
Wonder if they're going to be ready for Rise to be right here, waiting for the rotation, and no, finally, Ivy, after what I think has been since round 2, when they scored, let's see, do the math, 10 points unanswered from Chaotic, they finally get back on the board. And again, not what we were expecting this afternoon, but fun to watch nonetheless. Chaotic stepping up here, and now Ivy getting a little bit loose. Their roster for map 2, maybe more of what they were hoping for, but still, it's, you know,
It's something.
yeah, it's impressive with what Chaotic are doing here. I think this Ivy roster capable of beating most teams in the region, but again, just having a tough time against a very locked-in post-season Chaotic squad right now.
Yep, 100%. This could be the possible turning point for this
Could be.
matchup today because of Ivy take that win. Granted, it was a bit of a hero play for Rise, but if they take that confidence from winning this, winning that run round, they can just snowball off it. You know, they have only got 1 rifle that Rise obviously saved here against. You've got 5 rifles, so they're still a little bit down, not just in rounds, but in econ. But once again, you know, it's a top team. If they get back in form, this should be a comeback is definitely always possible, especially for a team like Ivy.
Shout out to everybody tuning in. We got a nice crowd of EU and probably NA folks enjoying the action today. As Chaotic lead map 2 on ship. They're going to try and breach through the outside of A, but run into a bit of resistance. Incendiary to slow them down initially, and then some static emitters. There also is a clone there, but it hasn't been deployed or got destroyed at some point. But either way, Quinn gonna peek out, look for the picks, not find any in an instant there. Gonna zone out Quinn from peeking that angle, while the rest of Chaotic works their way into sight. Audio transmitter giving away some information, and a big nade that catches Jacob out.
That was a perfect nade right there. Honestly, I'm very surprised that wasn't even a triple kill. That was very close to just an insane nade right there. But 3v5 now. This is the first time that Ivy's been in the lead this much in numbers for quite a while. 2v5. It's definitely, that round might have been the full changing point here. Even on the worst weapons, they know, yep, Sergeant knows Quinn's close there. 2v4. This is looking good for Ivy now. That might be starting to get back in form here.
I mean, I gotta wonder if it feels a little bit more like this is a Chaotic defense where they're not overextending and they're really tucked in the back of the sites, making it difficult for the utility to be as effective. Mad finds a headshot on a Nasty, continuing to be a huge threat with that Marui.
Yep, it's so, like I said, so aware. Everyone on Chaotic is just so aware of these flanks coming in. I think they maybe have just been watching Ivy's games and knowing they like to have flankers. So you always kind of have someone just holding that. You see Mads, you got so many places to look at that, and he still decides to hold that angle onto the stairs, and obviously gets that pick off onto Nasty. 2v3 now, still definitely winnable for either team here. This is the last round of the half. Everyone's putting in it all. Anything they have, they're sending it here.
2v3. We've seen some big clutches this afternoon as Mad starts to push their way up.
Yep.
Gonna swing into the back of Extrius, catches one. Rise and Ran 6 double stacked, will scoop up another. Mad tries to swing for the double kill and can't get it. They don't get the collat. And IV put up a second point on the board. And like you said, this feels good. Rise doing a little bit of a hype swing up there, a little fist bump. And if they can get a pistol round here, they're off to the races on their offensive half.
Yep, 100%. It's a little bit of a misplay by Chaotic there. Granted, they were in a 2v5, so it was good. It was impressive they got it down to a 2v2, but Sergeant, with that EMP, deciding to peek connector, even if it was just for info, I think at that point you do definitely want to just get the EMP down, letting your teammate who's just got that pick hold the pushes, because you should be pretty safe. But obviously, stuff happens. Hopefully they don't get to them heads here. Like we said, so much can change just by your mental being different. If one or two players stop performing as good, you're then just in a very bad situation. So 4-2 for Chaotic here. Ivy a lot closer than, well, I say a lot closer, 1 round closer than they were at the end of first half last game. If they win this pistol round, they have the chance to bring it up to a completely equal terms, and we'll have to see how it goes here if they can win their first pistol round of this entire matchup.
A big round here, and a big shout out to everyone tuning in. Hit the thumbs up button and subscribe to the channel. Your support is free if you do that, and it means a lot. If you want to super chat and donate to the stream, we also do appreciate that. It helps go to supporting the VRML and enabling us to do things like VRMLCon and other cool content creation ideas that we've been cooking up. So we appreciate all of the support from everyone that is able to, and especially if you just do like and subscribe to the channel, it will mean a lot to us. We appreciate you. Stick around, more action here as we dive in around 7.
We're seeing the same push as what Chaotic have been doing. You got the A push, and you got a lot of util still on both sides. They haven't used much to hold the outside of sight. So Rise taking some tick damage. I say that about the util. Any bit of damage on pistol round is so strong. Making that possible chance at a one-tap headshot is such a big changer. So still 5v5 here, but Rise on that 40 HP. Flash is going out. Up to still, who's that on the flank? That's Grad on the flank here, with Extras watching it though.
Good nade there, zone Sergeant off the corner and allows Rise to push up. Goes for the EMP plant. Jacob swings out for the kill. Quinn over the top, finds Sergeant. Gradual barrels through. Tesco barrels through. Ran 6 on a huge flank. Tries to challenge the trio, but they were alone. And now Quinn getting flanked on the back line. Goes down, and Chaotic pick up a really nice and coordinated defensive hold on the pistol round.
They're just, yeah, like you said, coordinated. Everything they do, they seem to just kind of be doing it together there, like just a straight up hive mind. You've got, yeah, that was just perfect. Once the attack started on the actual site of the walls blown and the jiggle peaks coming through for defense, that's when Grad maybe, I don't think he sped up, but he was there at the perfect time to then peek the flank, wins his 1v1 on the flank, which just puts even more pressure on the attackers because they have to turn around, because if the flanker can just obviously push up after that one kill, or they can back off, but they have no idea what they're going to do. And it's just, yeah, four people still living. Granted, 2 of them on 1 HP. Like I said, any tick damage you do on pistol round is so much. Like those pistols can get you down to 4 HP and 1 HP so often. And that's another pistol round. That's 4 for 4 for pistol rounds for Chaotic now, bringing it to 5-2. Still keeping this lead far away from Ivy's reach.
This is tough as Ivy, so close to having their season finished, got to be feeling that pressure that we talk about here in the postseason that you really only get in the postseason. I'm starting to feel it in my own stomach here,
yeah.
You know, as we do get into these late rounds of Map 2. A huge Map 1 win to Chaotic 7-1. Could now lead into a Map 2 victory and a Series W.
Yep, like I said, the difference in playoff matches compared to just seasonal matches is insane. You don't feel, obviously you want to win these seasonal matches, especially if you want to be higher on the leaderboard for an easier, well, you say easier, but you know,
yeah,
possible chance at an easier playoff first match for quarterfinals. But the difference, you feel like Ivy must be feeling it so much right now, but same with Chaotic. They win this, they're through to the semi-finals, which I think is insane as well, because you just don't expect the number 7 team to beat the number 2 team this much as well. This I don't know, I keep forgetting the word, dominant. It's insane how well Chaotic are playing. There's always a chance for Ivy to bring us back. Getting that first pick on the Jacob right now, as we see.
Big backline nade there. Tesco taking some damage as well. Ivy. It was the pistol round. We always say the pistol round is very different than the other rounds. Obviously, these teams not ecoing now, getting omens into their hand. Quinn finding another kill onto Tesco over the top. Ran 6 doing a little bit of the peeking, but Sergeant pops up. Rise over the top on the Overwatch finds one into a 4v2. EMP getting planted by Nasty as Gradual and Mad, the 2 kill leaders for this team, start to advance up and could be a big threat. Nasty finds Gradual, rotates over to Mad, but Mad continues to swing and won't find Nasty on the back line. Ivy with 4 alive on the attack in round 2 in a nice position off of losing that pistol round here. This could be it. I still think Ivy are bouncing back still.
They're a team that's skilled and proved it. They can definitely come back from this. They're locking in. They finally made it to 3 rounds compared to last map, so the confidence is just going to keep going up and up. Hopefully, Chaotic maybe like they know they've still got that map on. Like I said at the end of last game, they still got that 1 map up, so they don't have to worry too much. But you obviously you still want to just 2-0 sweep it. Just get the game done and just worry and just stop worrying about the game. But Ivy, knowing that they don't want to get kicked out, they want to win this season. They are going to keep pushing until the game's over, and that was the most dominant we've seen them as well. 4 people alive at the end of the round there, instead of it being a bit of a, clutch situation for people. This is
we're watching
different Ivy we're seeing now.
We're watching a fiery debate going on here on the Chaotic side as they discuss utility and placement. And hey, it's you got a little bit of time to chat about it, but there's very clearly some disagreement amongst the team on what would have been good utility placement or different utility placement where they should have placed things. But either way, the trip mines are down, the static emitters here, and this team kind of stacked up at the outside of B.
Yep, definitely doing a more aggressive hold than what we saw Ivy do. Like, we saw Ivy on their defense backing off a little bit. I kind of forgot about this floor, but I'm pretty sure they did have 2 people top floor defending, which was the perfect place to hold when Chaos had done their push. It was just unfortunate that they got picked off. Some really good damage coming into the wallbang here. 2 people on Chaotic being 40 HP with no stims. Mad gets droned out now, so they know he's there. Let's see if he can get a pill of this Spectral? Yep, Spectral, so Instant comes out. He does get 1 on extras. 3v4 now with Darcy and Rise getting that refrag. And they have backed off to side.
Pretty big to be able to get that kill with the pistol at the end of the day, and some big wallbang damage coming in. That Pesco rifle and Jacob on the front line here, trying to threaten any entry points. Advantage still IV in players and overall HP, but a nice hold that's still tough to crack. As Chaotic into the 3v4. 1:15 on the clock, so a lot of time for Ivy to work with. They could rotate A if they wanted to.
Yep, and I've just seen that Jacob bought into this round quite a bit here, so if they don't win this, it's going to be a little bit in trouble for next round. 4v2 now, another nade goes into connector. This is looking worse and worse for Chaotic here. Just about missing those blind fires onto round 6. Walls open now, making it a lot harder. Rand wants this kill, just with an Omen who's playing close, but so much. Oh, Jacob does get that kill onto the wall. Oh, it's 3v2.
Nice little hold. Pesco on this front line now, getting picked off by Quinn with the Marui. A nice headshot. Finally, EMP can get planted, and now a low HP Jacob trying to shut down the EMP plant with some shots over the top. They're going to scoop up the Vezin and instantly get picked off by Quinn. A beautiful push in. And Quinn getting IV a couple of kills and setting them up for their round here to... I mean, we could be potentially looking... I think this is the comeback. I think IV may be pushing this to map 3, but they're so far so good on the offensive half.
Yep, they finally closed that gap to the lead. You don't see a 3-4 point lead for Chaotic now. Econ still, like we saw last game, once you win those they won 2 rounds in a row now. You've got that Econ so much advantage with Chaotic spending quite a bit last round to where they can't even force that much. They've got 2 rifles, a Cadillo, a Viper, and Jacob. I think he's sticking with the Jesper here just to get that extra util. So I think Chaotic went all into that round hoping to make it the match point, which is, different people try different strats. If it works, wonderful. They've made it. They've beat Ivy in the buy round for them, but fortunately it didn't. So 5 rifles and all the util for Ivy. 5-4, looking very good. Looking very good for them right now to make it finally into a draw game for them.
Certainly is. Let's see. This offensive pressure looks like here as they do get ready. Bit of drone work, and look at how forward pressed they are on their pistol round. Everyone's set up on the outside of A, just trying to challenge entry points.
Yeah, like I said though, the Econ's still very spread around. You've got 2 people buying rifles there, so they'll have no money at all next round. And then you've got the rest of them saving. Maybe Bad will be able to buy next round, but Jacob Sargent will have to. We'll also have money down, but Grad and Casco won't. Sorry, my mind's all messed up right now. Ivy taking this very slow though. I think they're waiting for. Yeah, we see Rise on the flank on the stairs here. So they're definitely waiting for him to get a bit closer before they start anything.
Pesco just putting out some shots to try and fend off round 6 from peeking out. as well, and a nice flash comes in, catches Mad. Rise instantly flies up for the kill. Tesco goes down to Ran 6, and that is good coordination. IV are waking up. They're pinching and poking, and I guess going up against an underkitted chaotic defense, but nonetheless, that was much nicer on the coordination from IV than past offensive rounds.
Yeah, we're definitely gonna see a lot more. I think that was the issue last game, like we said with Goblin there. They weren't fully coordinated, and now we're seeing them more and more working together. That flash perfectly placed for Rise to just get that one frag off, and then the refrag coming off again. I think it was Nasty getting the refrag onto Tesco. They played that as perfectly as they could do with that, just a singular piece of util, giving them that entire room is what they needed to use.
Yeah, and to your point, I just wonder if the investment on the defensive side was worth it to get Rise, to kill Rise. Like, I don't think that does enough damage to your opponent to be justified. They need a few more kills. They need Nasty to go down, but Nasty finds a double kill. And just like that, IV tie up map 2 5-5 and barrel towards what could be a 6-5, quite frankly, with their economy. Maybe a map 2 win.
Yep, seeing 3 rifles again. Like I said, I feel like if I was chaotic there, being 5-4 up there, and knowing your econ's a little bit messed up, I would call a save to make it, because you know most likely that round's not going to go in your favor. You'd save this round, full buy into next, equal grounds, making it into that whoever gets the match point first. But unfortunately, they didn't do that. So we've got 2 rifles, Cadillo, 2 Orioles.
Yeah, 3 non-meta guns. Cadillo's certainly pretty strong at a high tier. So Cadillos are definitely still very effective because these players are super good at shooting, so headshots become very effective with the Cadillo. But to have 2 Orals up against, Maruis and Vezins, it's going to be a little bit of a mismatch just on stats. Both of these teams and all of these players, like we've talked even with SMG rounds, still very good with all of the guns. So just because it's a mismatched meta weapon doesn't mean they're not going to be effective with it. And, you got to remember that if you're IV, too. IV can't get overconfident at any point going up against Chaotic just because they're starting to feel a rhythm. They're still close to losing map 2 and the series.
Yep, 100%. Even if IV take this match point here, they still know they aren't technically winning. Even if they win this map, it will go full third map. Everyone pushes everything they can. But this is more or less do or die for Ivy. They lose this round, they've got money for the final round actually.
Really good flash. Caught out 2, allowed for the push in. Tesco was blind, couldn't support over the top. They scoop up 1, back off. They end up losing Extrius in the chaos, but it's a 4-4, and they're moving their way into the outside of A site.
Yep, and they have that info that Tesco is on the red push now, so they do know only 3 people are currently on site. Oh, but he gets chased down by Quinn. Oh, and a great nade by Mad. Rand running away from it, but Quinn running into it. That is very unlucky. 3v3 now. Looks like a B rotate's going in, but Mad's there, getting the nade kill, and then going there. Only as a Kilolo, gets 1. Gets on the flat. Oh, doesn't get the second. 1v1, Rise versus Sergeant for the match point. First team to get the match point here. Both have rifles. Oh, Sergeant's waiting. 1 minute on the clock.
Neither
Rise
wants to
all the
reload.
time in the world to do what he wants.
17 rounds in Sarge. Oh, they just did. No, they healed. 17 rounds in Sergeants and 26 in Rise. Neither with a full clip. Rise gonna push forward. Sergeant swings out.
Wow. Rise, I think, panicked maybe a little bit there, not knowing where Sergeant is if he didn't hear that stim.
Yep.
So he made a guess. I mean, I think he knew he was somewhere near connector, but maybe not that close. So Sergeant winning that 1v1. Mad, perfect time to rotate there. Gets that nade kill onto Quinn, and then just instantly rotates, gets to the middle of site, kills around 6, distracts the other 2 people on the left side of site. So 1 gets picked off, making it into a 1v1 there. That was very well played by Chaotic. With the worst weapons we saw as well, like the Cadillo, you saw getting that 1 tap onto Ran, I'm pretty sure close range.
Yeah.
That would have maybe been a little bit different with an Oriole. We never know obviously, but 6-5 to Chaotic once again here on the match point. But we've got Ivy once again with so much money for this round, even though they lost the last round. And then we've got Chaotic once again, 3 rifles, 2 Orioles. I don't know how much util. I haven't, see statics, see trips. instant nades, so maybe I don't know. I think they have full util as well, but definitely Ivy on the upside with the util once again here. They've got everything on the roof. You can see all those pings. So this is for either Chaotic to go through to the semi-finals, or for Ivy to make it into overtime to try and keep themselves in here and go to a map 3.
What an exciting series this has developed into here, as Ivy's fate is on the line against Chaotic here. A nade comes into the back line, catches Gradual to half health. Gradual tucked in close, ready for a swing out. Those shots through the netting there just go over the top of Gradual's head, comes so close. Gradual with a little bit of an adjustment, may be able to catch off this team. Oh, look at that nade. Would have caught Gradual out, but they rotated over to this other corner and survived that nade toss.
Let's get one. That's unlucky for Grad right there. 5v4 now for Ivy. Yeah, very good position there. Like Ivy had no idea he was there. They cleared it with an instant. They fought, obviously, through both nades there. That's a lot of util used for Ivy just for one kill, but they have got all the space they need now once they start to take it. So this is looking pretty good for them already. How much? We've got 2 nades for Chaotic as well. No instants to stop this plant. Great flash.
Such a stacked B-side defense here, though. Nobody at A. Could be a very easy A-side rotate as they get another good flash to the back line. No movement. These huge flashes are not being followed up on with anything because it's such a big risk to swing in and get aggressive without opening up walls or having nades to the back line. So having a tough time cracking this shell again. This Chaotic squad stacked up, ready and waiting. A big clutch round for them. Can they lock in a series win here? Or will Ivy take the 4v4? It's going to be a super close Chaotic battle that unfolds. As Quinn finds one, swings out for another. Tesco scoops up the refrag. Ran 6, takes some shots onto Tesco, but doesn't find them.
3 versus 3 now. EMP down. Tesco uses a stim. So we've got still got 1 smoke for Ivy's side as well, which they can use to just waste even more time. But 3v3, this is for the overtime point for Ivy. It's definitely, with the plant being down, definitely an advantage here. Ran playing with Rise here. Yep, Rise gets the 1 kill on Sergeant. Mad gets the refrag onto Extrius. 2v2 now. Not much time left.
Yeah, they gotta get these kills, or at least start to go for the EMP defuse.
Yep. It's definitely not much time now. Mad needs to stick this. Mad has to stick it. Tesco playing as aggressive as he can. I don't think there's enough time anymore.
Really nice.
Ran and Rise playing together perfectly there. 6-6 overtime.
It's happening. We are going to OT and map number 2 in this best of 3. If you're one of the 2 teams waiting for your next matchup, which is going to be Valiant's EU versus Niffin, you may have to wait a little longer, or you may have to be ready. Either way, you should be tuning into the action and prepping, because you're going to go up against the team that wins this series. So any sort of data is good data, but we do have another best of 3 immediately after this, so a lot of EU action still left today. But what a interesting, exciting start here for the day for us, as we do just await now the fates of these teams. Where do we end up on side? IV went defense, so Chaotic is on the attack. We'll swap sides there.
So Chaotic had a more score than IV, and the way it works of overtime, the team with the most score once it gets to that 6-6 gets to choose what side they choose. Obviously, Chaotic being 4-2 up on that offensive half, they are going to decide offense here. And I think this is the first round, minus pistol rounds, where both teams are at the exact same util. It's all fair game now. I mean, maybe the pressure's a little bit different with Ivy having to win this to stay in, but this is the most fair fight we're going to get with rifles in this map. And, well, this is obviously their last round, so we're seeing, once again, another B push, but maybe a bit more slower this time with, who's that? With Sergeant on the flank.
And I mean, yeah, I gotta wonder, in the developing meta, as a fully kitted offense, have a little bit more pressure these days with the ability to toss in the flashes, the nades, the incense, the combos of those utility is so effective, with the recent update, that does make me wonder if maybe picking offense was the right choice for Chaotic. We'll have to see. They certainly didn't win a ton of rounds on defense, so it makes sense that they go back to where they were finding success.
So Sergeant has blown the hatch onto the other site. It kind of faked out Ivy for a second, and they have 2 people holding A now, so the numbers do definitely do favor Chaotic here on the attack for the B site, and they're gonna have to keep that pressure. Like they have to keep that knowledge and Sargent's on that flank. But here we see the B push, loads of util going off, perfect instant to stop anyone on Chaotic Ivy pushing up to stop the plant. Another instant.
Yeah.
They're not doing anything off it though because Ivy throw their own one down. That's a lot of util used for Chaotic to do nothing off, unfortunately, because of Ivy's trades and util as well. Let's go down
EMP
plant
plant.
now.
Coming in, Tesco. Trying to go over the top. Sargent catches a crazy angle from Rise. Nasty barrels forward. Tries to catch Tesco on the flank. Ran 6 is here. Finds none. And they go down. It's a 2v3, but very low HP for the entire team here. EMP gonna get planted. No utility for Quinn or Extrius, but it's gonna come down to Quinn or Extrius. Quinn finds one, finds two. Gonna get the third. It's a 1v1. They find the third. Quinn clutches it. Ivy are going to another map. What a crazy way for us to stay alive here in this best of 3.
Wow, yeah, insane clutch by Quinn where that triple kill is insane. That is, I mean, well played by both teams. That's the closest it genuinely could have been. Going down to 6-6, EMP planted, 1v1 there. I mean, wow, Quinn needing that obviously to stay in, and he keeps Ivy in the playoffs to go to a map 3. This could go anywhere at this point. Completely different from what we've seen last game.
What a insane way to end map 2. And where does it take us for map 3? That's the big question this afternoon, because that's where we are headed in this best of 3. If you are one of 2 teams that is coming up next, Valiant, EU, and Niffin, have to wait for one more map to be played out before we get to your series. But we will be getting to another best of 3 immediately after this one finishes. But it's another map that we have left ahead of us. And quickly, as we look at the KDs, Mad on Chaotic, 16 kills. The next up on there, Sargent with 10. Comparison, IV with Rise and Quinn, both at 15 and Nasty at 11. A huge map there for that trio at the end of the day is Extrius actually scooping up there 1 kill at the end of that round. So, you know, again, it just matters when you come alive the most at the end of the day. And where do we go for map 3? I gotta wonder, Chaotic.
It doesn't seem like timeout's coming in. We'll see the map in 10 seconds here. But wow, I mean, 2 very important rounds won by Ivy there was just clutches. We saw Rise with that 1v3 on the top floor, and then we saw obviously Quinn for that triple kill right at the end. Just played perfectly, and we're going on to Arctic with Chaotic on defense and Ivy on attack.
Whew. Let's take a look at the stats to assess how we think this one's going to unfold. IV, definitely, it's their stomping grounds. This is going to be a tough one for Chaotic. A 38% win rate, 60 rounds played. In comparison to Arctic for IV, 85% win rate, 33 rounds played. They don't lose a lot of rounds on Arctic.
They don't at all, no.
So, here we go. Arctic map 3. Is this the full comeback train? I kind of feels like it is. It kind of feels like IV are bouncing back off of a terrible Hideout performance 7-1 where they just were not awake yet. They slowly started to come alive, only after losing 3 rounds in a row on ship. And, you know, I don't know if it was Chaotic maybe loosening up, but, you know, we talked about it in map 1. You can't let up against IV. You never can. Even when you're up a map and up 3-0 on map 2, you can't let up. But maybe that's what happened. Maybe IV just woke up. Maybe they got loose. Either way, we're here in map 3 on Arctic.
This will definitely be an interesting one. Ivy on attack here. We've seen their attack rounds have been strong. I mean, last map they went up, well, they were 4-2 down, and they obviously made it into overtime here. So maybe Ivy's attack is their strong suit, especially for Arctic. But obviously pissed around once again, both even util. It just depends how we use it for this site. And we see 2 nades and an instant for Chaotic's defense.
Taking a breather here.
That last round was crazy.
For map number 3, and yeah, into a little calming, steady pistol round now, you know? A little bit of utility, a little bit of pistol action, nothing too crazy. As as we do open up the hatch, get rid of the static emitters that are double stacked here on what is a very standard site plant, which is ultimately really slowing down the Ivy offense, but nades are connecting for the Ivy offense, and now they've up into 5v4.
That nade was just placed on Jacob's feet. I don't think he even knew it was there. His hands were down and it bounced up onto his chest. That was just the perfect nade. 5v4 now for Ivy. Nasty trying to push it in to get that kill. Damage going on to Rise with the EMP. 4v4. Smoke going back sight. No more util left for Ivy here. Kill going on to Tesco. 4v3 Ivy. Mav gets another one, being 1 HP though. 3-3. Rise, still a minute 10 here. They're just trying to get any picks they can. Ivy's playing this pretty well, knowing how aggressive Chaotic already been. A bit of an unlucky insyn for Grad right there, landing on top, which means it doesn't spread. And no more util left for either team here. Pure gun skill is what it comes down to now.
There's still that static emitter, which is a thorn in the side of this entry for IV. They want to get in here and get this plant, but they also don't want to be slowed too much. Rise manages to get past the corner of it, as Matt, again, only 1 HP, has to tuck in. And as soon as they peek out, both Ran and Rise dial in. Now it's up to Sergeant and Matt and Gradual on the retake, and neither are able to retake. Really good overwatch once they got the EMP down. And Sergeant maybe accepting their fate, but either way, trying to flank for a 1v3.
Yep. I think at that point in Chaotic's like position right there, it being a 3v3, Mad is in that corner 1 HP, Ivy fully knows. I think you kind of just gotta let Ivy plant and then play it off post plant, because it's so hard to stop a plant on this site with no util at all. Rise tucking behind this box. I think Sergeant maybe just going for exit frags when Ivy's guard is a little bit lower, just to get that little bit of extra money for next round, but we see. Rise sees his arm.
Not able to fend off the trio, and Rise does catch that kill, but an opening round for IV, oh, I gotta swap sides, apologies there, is exciting. As
different as well.
Yeah, that's true. We haven't had one yet on the pistol round. Like you said, it was 3 pistol rounds in a row coming in from Chaotic before they've now, or maybe 4 even, before they've now lost this one.
So, Ivy finally taking the lead early on here. First time we've seen this. I mean, first time we've actually seen them in the lead the entire match, I'm pretty sure. I think it was 1-1, then 2-1 up for Chaotic, and then... So this, like I said, Arctic, we've seen Arctic is Ivy's map from the stats, and they've already backed it up for 1 round. Now we're going into round 2, if they can keep this lead going and just take this entire series away just as quickly as they can.
It would be an interesting reversal, wouldn't it? Start 7-1, end 1-7. That could be a reality for Chaotic that they have to be wary of with how strong Ivy perform here on the map Arctic. As Chaotic just have to recollect and focus up on map number 3, the do or die map for both teams. Loser here has their season finished.
And we're seeing Ivy with three omens and 2 spectrals, but quite a bit of util. You got all those flashes. Obviously, we know how strong they are now. 2 instants, 2 nades, and then we've got full omens and 2 instants for Chaotic here. Playing not too aggressive in the green hallway, but having 2 people hold this cafeteria. I think, in my opinion, having this cafeteria control is hard to get the control, but having it is just so strong. You can rotate, you can go wherever you want so easily. But I don't think Ivy are going for it here. They're just going for a usual green push into Jim. Tesco being the lone person holding this. Second instinct goes out for Ivy in the hallway. Another nade. It's gonna maybe 9 HP. I'd get out of there too.
Like you said, because it's the early rounds, there's no heal either, so big damage does matter. Tesco not going to be able to heal up from that. Sergeant on the back line. Look at this, a duo flank. Yeah, this is kind of what you were maybe talking about, getting control of this space. Maybe a big threat when the defense has it as a nice flash comes in, forcing out the utility that was saved for them to push onto the site. Another kill, a pop-up. Jacob, Sergeant wearing down this offense.
Gradual maybe getting a bit too aggressive there. Round 6 with another TK as a refrag, but now it's 1v3, 38 HP. They're Chaotic holding the EMP in library here with, we've got Sergeant rotating towards the green hallway, so he can't flank into library. This round's looking very hard for us. Round 6 to win here with 38. That was a very well played flank. Ooh, very well played flank from Chaotic here. Mad's not.
Good
Oh, he's
flash.
Mad.
Oh, but not ready for Mad. Yeah, in the corner. Ran6 connected with that nice flash on Jacob. Got some good damage. At the end of the day, a nice turnaround from Jacob to draw out that final player on the offense. And Chaotic put one on the board real nice. I mean, that is huge for us. I mean, yeah, at this stage, maybe we're going to head to another 6-6 for this third map because these two teams are feeling like they're more and more evenly matched now as we get deeper and deeper into the series.
Yeah, and we're seeing counterplays like that happening. For either team, anything can happen. We see that double flank from Kitchen into the library room there. And not only do they kill Extras holding the flank, they then stay there and keep the pressure on, playing together perfectly, getting the 2 extra kills. EMP goes down, and then, you know, round 6 and Nasty just kind of stuck in that green hallway, being sandwiched there. There's not much they can do, especially on a second round with no more, well, one more flash on their hands, but just omens. It's very hard to win those type of rounds. So now 1-1 with, I think we got a rifle on each side. Nope, we got a Cadillo, and then 1 rifle for Chaotic. We see him buying in for 1 rifle, along with just kind of a half buy, half save type thing. It's kind of weird. You see Spectrals, but then you see a Cadillo as well for Ivy. I think Ivy's got the longer range here, like minus the Marui, of course.
Yeah.
So this site, this hallway control is pretty good for this site, and having that longer range is definitely helpful.
Looks like B is going to be the standard meta setup here. The little ensign comes out to stall a plant. And yeah, a lot of flashes coming into the back line. Follow-up nade catches Tesco out. A nice toss. An S-tier frag if I were to give you a little Bob here. And whoa, what happened there? Quinn goes down to Jacob flying out from the doorway.
Yep, I don't think the drone... I think the drone was down at that point, so they didn't spot Jacob also playing there. But they have got the barrel room control, which means the hallway control is a lot easier. Jacob getting the kill from the wall. He's kind of stuck between 2 open walls here. Yeah, it does get picked off. 3v3 now. Nasty playing the door, 1 person on the wall. Trying to get an angle onto Sergeant here. Sergeant with the Marui gets the headshot instantly onto Nasty. 3v2. They know where round 6 is, obviously. And Smoke lets Rise rotate round over to the vent. With Grad there. Grad gets the pick onto 1. He's checking vent. Doesn't get the pick onto Rise, but gets the info, definitely. 1v2 here. You know, we've seen Rise win these. I've seen Rise win clutches a lot before. 1v2, you know, a quick rotate. They're not even, Chaos are not even aware. It's going to be a 1v2 with EMP planted.
They moved so fast on the rotate that when they planted, they took the damage from the foam so that they could go faster into sight. So... nice play there, and what a headshot. Looks up for the double.
Lord.
Come on. That's insane. Ivy back in the lead.
That was just great positioning by Rise there. Knows that table is there. Goes back, jumps on the table, gets that 1 tap, crouches down, peeks up again, 2 bullets, dead, wins the round for Ivy. That's definitely an important round for them to win here. 2-1. But just wow, that rotate was so quick. Chaotic had no clue it was coming. That was very well played.
I love the replay. That is huge from Rise. And that's the Cadillo, a non-meta weapon in standard league play, being a terrifying weapon in the hands of a top-tier player, of somebody that's super good at connecting with their shots. And it, again, shows you why it's, even though cheaper than, you know, more affordable and arguably less effective in fast fights, still a super dangerous tool. It's like taking the Taurus. You know, you can clutch 1v3s with a Taurus, or you can look like a fool and end up shooting somebody's leg and only doing a couple bits of damage. You know, like it's very...
situational.
Yes.
I think the perfect use for it there. You take 1v1s like that, Cadillo will beat out a lot. Cadillo will beat out a Marui and Vezin as well, if they get the jump on them, which obviously he did with that off angle. And just 1 bullet is all you need as a headshot to get that kill. And he played it just perfectly with the gun he had and the position he was in. It was amazing.
Better look at it one more time there. Nice double kill to clutch up, and IV maintaining the lead, but very slightly. This Chaotic squad is absolutely stepping up to the challenge of IV this afternoon, despite losing to them previously in the regular season 14-5, I believe. They are now still in the lead on points. Looking to take this third map as Nasty pushes up, but lots of guesswork and insins and wallbangs coming in that don't connect. Nice flash.
Yep, I was saying, I think a lot of what we see on the site is just so much util used for this screen control. Even if you don't know anyone's there, the defenders can literally just back off the site and then push there whenever they want. It's always time with this, so you've got to use that instant and nades just to push them back and keep them back. You don't want them pushing up. I don't know if this drone has spotted a drone spot Grad here, but if they push up, he might be able to get killed with Rise making noise in kitchen, so they know. Oh, Ensign. Oh, just about takes out Tesco there. 4v5 now for Chaotic.
Rachel still tucked in. Sergeant and Jacob holding objective. Matt on the back line catches Quinn out and then drops back. On the front line, Gradual finds the kill. Yeah, Ran6 with a quick refrag. Pushing in, finds Sergeant on the double. Jacob swings out for the kill. The double, no. Ran6 makes it around the corner in time. The push now coming into the other site. Extrius with the EMP and full HP is going to get it down onto B.
Yep, this is the info of just retaining the info. They know Mad is on that flank who took the, I believe it was Nasty he killed. So they know he's not on site. And then obviously you see Jacob got the kill onto round 6, not onto round 6, sorry, onto Rise. So they know he's also not on site. So Ivy take site control with no pressure at all. And now Chaotic gonna have to play together here to retake this. Not much time left already. I'm pretty sure it's probably down to 30 seconds. And walls aren't open. They have a doorway to push through. This is very, very good for Ivy here, playing together. What a pick coming out for... Oh, Jacob getting a good kill onto Exodus, but Ran getting that refrag and then keeping those shots coming to kill Jacob. 3-1 for Ivy.
Using that active camo on the front lines. Kind of use Extrius as a distraction almost, a meat shield, if you will, to find that double kill, but it was a nice one that they scooped up nonetheless on the front lines there. And Extrius with the EMP plant, a kill there, drawing out that double kill. Key on some of these pushes, and, you know, again, it just... kills don't necessarily determine your value to the squad and what you're able to provide to a top-tier team.
That's what Rand done there is just a tactical bait. He knew where both players are coming from. Obviously, here's those footsteps. Extras, not really much. I mean, she could have maybe backed off, but she played it puffily. She got the attention drawn to her, and then you've got round 6 getting the first kill and then keeping the bullets flowing, but just played the bait perfectly. You know, you don't usually. It's just like when people when you're attacking. Obviously, you don't expect defenders to just instantly swing out on you, and that's exactly what Rand done there. You catch people off guard, and you get those multi kills as easy as it comes.
Into round 5 we go. I don't know there's going to be any easy rounds coming for any one of these squads in the next few rounds as we do get into it. Although I say that knowing that this actually under-kitted defense is going up against a... Oh, now Extrius picking up a double out through the doorway. Ace kitted and now advantaged IV squad. 5-1. Everybody got mowed down. I take back what I said. This was an easy round for IV.
Yep, that flashbang, that flashbang and the drone combo right there. Both of them flashed, nothing they could do out there. 2 wallbang kills. You saw the obviously they had the knowledge from the drone for the first wallbang kill, but then you saw Rise flank from red and wallbang from the red room wall into connector and pick off the player holding there. That was very well played. Got the lineup perfectly. So now 4-1 to Ivy here, and this is final round of the first half. Biggest lead we've seen from Ivy. Definitely trying to forget that map 1 and what happened and just end it now. Get it over with, get to these semi-finals and worry about that. And we're seeing 3 rifles. 3? Yeah, 3 rifles for Chaotic here.
Again, the winner here going to go up against the winner of our next series, Valiant's EU versus Niffin. Something you're going to want to check out. It'll be pretty shortly after this one finishes, so be sure to stick around for more EU action. Then pretty much immediately after that, we'll dive in to, I guess at 3 p.m. PST, depending on how quick this next best of 3 goes. 3 p.m. PST, we'll jump into the NA side of things. We have another 2 best of 3 series to dive into there. And so Breachers is what we've got on the menu this afternoon. And hope you want more of it, because I think we're going to continue like a lot. This is a great start for the day, but I imagine it's going to be a lot like this for the more of today.
Yep, 100%. I think the next matchup will be just as good as this. At least just as good as the map 2 we saw. That was just really, really good fighting. Good fight, like, just on both teams there. The rounds they won from playing just most of the time playing just so perfectly together. Got Jacob playing close to the site wall here. Maybe trying to get a pick as soon as it opens. He knows Extras. Maybe he heard the Extras vault up there, so we're going to go for that as soon as that wall opens. Still 5-5, a minute 45 on the clock. Wall gets blown. Jacob doesn't push out. Usually you only check the left side, which Extras does. Does she check the right? That it goes. Oh, but Rise might get picked up by the molly. Doesn't. 4v4 now. Tesco gets a kill. Rise on 3 HP. Waiting for Extras to stim, I guess. Yep, gets it now. Tesco gets another pick from Red. Being low HP, ran on the window. 2 people pushing B, and then 2 people holding, 2 defenders, sorry, holding round 6 on this window. Takes some damage, and now he backs off. 1 minute 10 o'clock. They're gonna probably wait for this rotate.
I think this is Chaotic potentially taking this round. They're in control. HP low for Rise, but they do have a health syringe, so maybe IV can bounce back on overall
look at Grad.
HP.
Grad aware that round 6 is dropped down the window and maybe flanking. This is what happens when a flanker is on defense. He just expects it. Rand doesn't expect it. Cool, guns down. Gets picked off by Grad. What? That was just perfect from Grad, just knowing that it was possible. Maybe he heard it open. If he didn't hear it open, that was even impressive. 4v2 now. Both defenders into kind of duos split up, but EMP goes down onto B, so they now know they're playing there.
Nade and Ensign don't catch Extrius. They're still tucked in here.
No, he's stuck. Yep. Gets one. Pushes out.
Oh!
Gets a second. That's perfect. This is now very winnable for Rise. But they now Rises. I think Grad knows. Oh, perfect waiting. Grad baits. Honestly, that was Extra's done all she could there. She's stuck in that corner. Chaotic no with that instant there that she can't go anywhere. She swings out, gets 2. I mean, that was perfectly played. And Rise just gets a bit of unlucky time in checking that wall with it was Mad looking at him, and then Grad doing a little bit of baiting. I mean, I think he shot a clone, did he? I don't know if he shot. I don't know if it was a clone he shot, but he shot. He pre-fired something and then done a little jiggle peek to maybe throw Rise off guard. They swing together, and that's 4-2 for the first half. 4-2 for Ivy. First time we've seen Ivy in the lead into this map 3 here. Let's see if they can win this around like they did on the first half of this game.
Oh,
Ivy on defense
man.
now.
I feel like we could be seeing a reversal of ship at this point. Maybe Chaotic are going to come back and push us to a 5-5, something like that. Who knows? Either way, both these teams absolutely making this one an exciting series to tune into. And a shout out to everyone that is tuning in to the series this afternoon. We got a whole bunch of folks catching the action, and we do appreciate you all stopping by. I see Dev Sender in here, Ken Zog, Ellie Dawson, excuse me, Leo, Circle, Sharky. Thank you all for stopping by, hanging out, and enjoying the action this afternoon. Please do hit that thumbs up button, subscribe if you're new here and you're just tuning in, because we do want you to come back for more VRML, VR esports on the VRML network. We do get ready to dive into the action here in round 7. The pistol round begins.
Yep. We've seen Quinn on a bit of an aggressive flank here, but Mad's actually getting ready for it. He opens his window, which should make Quinn back off, but he wants to stay there? No, he does back off now. One flash goes in. Obviously, with the new update, you've got the flashes not only are stronger, but you now hold 2 in one slot and buy 2 at the same time for the increased price to 300. That's 1 flash used for, I believe it was it Mad that has that? I'm blind. I can't look. It was Jacob. Jacob has it. Yep, so we've seen them take the green space already. Not the full hallway with the static there. Extras playing. They've got 3 people holding outside of sight here. With obviously holding where Chaotic do want to be here for all the control they want.
Twins made their way. Yeah, back to B just in time to support Nasty over the top. And Nasty with a nice nade tossed in. He's going to catch Jacob out.
Perfect nade. Nowhere. I mean, that's the second time a nade has just landed on Jacob's feet. It's like, even if you run there, that's just death. That's good. Instant goes on the middle of sight after 1 goes on the doorway. Mad gets to pick onto Quinn. They can't do much of that instant apart from that pick though. They can't take sight control. Nasty swings out from the... I'm sorry, I'm a bit stupid on that. I'm just gonna call it stage, but he gets the pick. Nasty gets headshot. Extra's playing aggressive on the hallway. Low HP gets another kill. 1v4 for Sergeant and 0v4 for Chaotic. Ivy take their second pistol round of the matchup, second of the game, 5-2. Almost match point for Ivy here.
This is getting dangerous for Chaotic. They've managed to get it to this point. They've pushed IV, a team that's seeded second and otherwise the favorite for the afternoon with an 8-3 record up against the 7-8 record of Chaotic. They've managed to push this team to a map 3, which alone in itself is impressive. The map 1 victory, still not sure what happened there, but Chaotic were super on point on Hideout. Map 2, they go to a map like Ship, and both teams kind of equal on win rate there, and we go to that 6-6. Then losing the 6-6 may have just hurt the morale too much of Chaotic, because that's one of the harder things to bounce back from. IV, a team that's familiar with a situation like this in the postseason, able to bounce back from it, but we'll see if Chaotic can do the same now. They're down 3 points going into their second round with some omens in hand.
Yeah, but we saw this on Ship. It was opposite scores, obviously, with Chaotic up 4-2 on the first half. Winning that pistol round, Chaotic did 5-2, but then Ivy came back and made it 5-5. So still a chance to see an exact repeat of last game just for opposite teams. With Ivy doing the same as they've usually been doing, 2 Spectrals on second round, and then the rest of them buying SMGs, with Chaotic then sticking to those 5 SMGs. Is there a flank? It was mad. It's opened a red room and we're going to try it later, it seems like.
Some trip mines are down here, and I don't know that they've done any drone work.
Haven't, but Grad should hear them. Yep, he does hear them. You see his. Yep, Casco gets them. So, no trip kills, no trip damage. 5v5 still, a minute 45 almost on the clock here. Wall has finally been foamed. And they're taking. Oh, I hear a nade primed for maybe when wall gets blown. Did I hear that? Oh no, it's a nade for attack.
Ooh, and I like that instant.
Yep.
Zones out the defense from moving in and stopping the EMP plant, but there's no EMP plant coming, so smoke coming in, and everyone on site defending. EMP now goes down after the instant dissipates, allowing for Nasty and the team to push up. Nasty catches one, but the instant wears them down, and Sergeant finds the kill. 3v4 now as HP gets chipped away from both IV, Ran, and Rise.
Yep, still one ensign on Ivy's side, so I'm assuming as soon as they tap, we're going to see Quinn throw that second ensign. But yep, you see HP round 6 got 30, Rise of 42, but Sergeant down on 23. It's, you know, with the util and the numbers, Ivy seem to have this round still in their hands with 50 seconds on the clock. Sergeant getting ready to tap. Taps doesn't stick it. Ensign goes in, Sergeant gets picked off by it. Quinn goes down to low HP though, 2v4. Still definitely winnable for Chaotic here if they can get the CMP down with no more losses.
Yeah, everyone's so stacked up on the inside that these forced rotations may end up kind of throwing them into the fire lines of this offense. But Extrius with a big kill. Extrius absolutely coming alive here in this final map.
15 seconds left. Still with the HP, Grad can win this with an Omen. 10 seconds though, needs to get the CMP down. Gets one, Ram gets the refrag. Well played by Ivy, making it into 6-2. Match point to make it through to the semi-finals. This is all on Ivy now. They have the econ advantage coming into this next round. Ivy are gonna want to shut this down. I think, they're gonna full buy as much as they can into this, shut it down. Obviously, you're gonna see a Chaotic. They have to buy. They have to spend everything they can because they lose this, they're out. They're out of the playoffs. They're out of round 1 of this. No semi-finalists, no second chance for them. This round means everything for both teams right now.
Yeah, it does. As we get into it, it's impressive to see such a difference from 7-1 map 1, 3-0 map 2, 6-5 map 2, where the series on the line in Chaotic's favor, to now have it be on the line in IV's favor, 6-2 in map 3. It's a heck of a best of 3 that we've caught here in the top 8 single elimination bracket, and one of these teams will eventually move on to the semifinals, and it could be IV if they just take one more round.
Yep, 100% round starts now. We're going to see Chaotic Stacking up 2 people in the green room, and then we've got 2 defenders. We've got Quinn and Nasty for Ivy holding. Sorry, 1 defender holding the stairs for a flank. I don't think they know Quinn's there though, so now they got that 1 pick. That's unless they drone it. I don't think. If Quinn hides from this drone, then Ivy, Chaotic, they're gonna think this is clear with that pick. Yep, drone doesn't fully check it here. So now we're going into a 5v4 for Chaotic, but Quinn could be headed. Very sneaky here.
Yep.
Oh, it's Sergeant flashing himself. And they're doing some damage onto Rise in the hallway. Quinn biding his time. Tesco getting a quick kill, taking full side control. Look at this. Rise still in hallway. Made some steps. They're planting. We got Quinn on the flank, making noise with the RCP. Whiffs a little bit on Sergeant, gets the kill, gets the second kill. 3v3 now, EMP is planted. Tesco is disconnected. So, 2v3, 2v2. Maybe they can use them as a bait. Nope. Gets picked off. Jacob, low HP. Grad in the hallway. I think they know about him because of the stat. Oh, gets picked off. And that's it. That's an unlucky disconnect for Tesco. But Ivy takes it 7-2 on Arctic after a map 1 they definitely want to forget about. And that's it. Ivy win and go to the semi-finals.
Wow, what a comeback train for them. Down 10-1 on overall points. They managed to claw their way back to a Series W. And that's why you watch the postseason. To watch a big comeback and clutch like that from the likes of a squad like IV. It's what we expected when we looked at the match history and their seasonal performance. But with a couple of roster hiccups, they're running into some issues. It wasn't until they finally started to settle in on Ship that we saw what we kind of felt like was the more familiar IV. We get onto Arctic, where it's a map where they're super comfortable and have a tremendous win rate, and they end up being the familiar IV that we sort of expected this afternoon. Chaotic, with a great effort nonetheless, won't be advancing on through to the semifinals, and their season will be over with. So we say goodbye to Chaotic in Season 4, but hats off to them for performing as well as they did up against this second seed. I mean, again, they nearly eliminated IV from Season 4 postseason.
Yeah, very, very well played from both teams there. Obviously, Ivy coming out on top, but Chaotic, that was impressive. That they done a lot more than I thought they were going to do. No offense to them, of course, but you know, being a lower team, coming into it, they are the underdogs, and they almost took it and moved on to the semi-finals. But unfortunately, Ivy comes just locked in after that map 1. You know, maybe a little bit of map 2, it's still a bit shaky, but then they just took it home. Lost, I think, what was it, 3 rounds in the past 1.5 maps. That's very well played by Ivy.
Very well played. Indeed, deserved of the result that they earned here this afternoon. And, well, we've got one winner, but we have another best of 3 ahead of us in this single elimination bracket. Valiant's EU and Niffin is coming up next. We'll give those teams some time to prepare. We'll take a little break on our end, and when we come back, another best of 3 to wrap up EU in the single elimination bracket round 1. Next weekend's the semifinals and finals, so make sure to subscribe to the channel, put it in your calendar, and get ready for more Breachers EU action, because we have it coming up today for NA as well, and then later next weekend. We'll be right back with more in just a few minutes. Welcome back, everybody, to the EU Top 8 Single Elimination Bracket. We are here for our second best of 3 of the afternoon. Valiant EU versus Niffin, dueling it out in a do-or-die single elimination round here, where the loser has their season over and the winner goes up against... I already forgot who just won.
IV.
IV. That's all. It all blurs together. Goes up against IV, who just took their series in round 3. Then, next weekend, we have the semifinals, Acer EU versus Sunset Ravens, where we'll see Pixel Player back into the action. And another semifinals matchup between IV and the winner here. So, more action left for us over the next course of the few weekends, but also more action right in front of us as we do get ready to dive into our first map of the day on Factory. What are your thoughts here to kick us off? Sorry, hold on, tech. There we go. Factory intro up. What are your thoughts here on Factory? Niffin, maybe starting off on the defense. Valiant starting off on the offense. How are you feeling about our second series today?
This should be just as good as a matchup as we saw in the last game against Ivy and Chaotic. I haven't played against Niffin recently, but I know they definitely do some, different things. It just catches you so off guard. So if you don't adapt to it quickly, they run away with those rounds so easily. Factory, as we know, as we said on the CC games, is a map where it's based off of, it's so just util. You get this util down in the right places, and it makes the defense so hard. But then again, it's the same for if you're playing defense. You get the util down at the right time, and it makes anything that the attackers are trying to do just even harder for them to play off any flashes or insins they play off. But here we see a push, top floor, 4 people pushed in, falling clear and lockers, and hatches open.
Valiant's looking for an aggressive offensive play here in the pistol round as utility gets prepped, flashes come in, Nade gets dropped down into the corner and catches some big damage on the Uhe.
It's in the early util. Once again, any tags on pistol round do so much, like 24 HP, 1 body shot, and then Savage getting a kill through the smoke with that just pre-fire onto Asoria. They've got 3 people playing. They've actually got everyone playing on site here, but 3 people playing on that back site.
Nice.
Scud throws an instant through the smoke, gets a kill as well. That's it. 4v4. But like I said, so many people playing back site. They have split up a bit over now. 1 instant makes them not be able to peek any of the site at all. But that means 1 flash, I believe. 1 flash left for Valiant, and that is all the util we're going to see. And it's going to be down to damage done and obviously gun skill for the rest of the round.
Oof. Minute left on the clock as that wall does open up. Gonna run into Senpai, who gets the kill, but a quick refrag and the hatch drop from Mami Llama. They'll find another. Over the top, Yellow Mac catches 1 Scud on the refrag, and we're into a 1v2. Scud worried about the push from their back line, but they should be worried about the push from their front line. Mami and Fallen both here as Llama swings out, finds the kill. Valiant up early on the offense with a pistol round locked in. The first round in this best of 3 do or die.
Yep. So, like I said, no util left, 1 minute on the clock. As soon as that wall got blown, there was I forgot the name, but someone on Niffin was just able to be seen. I think their legs were able to be seen because they were playing just on the outside of connector. So they get picked off, and then just a bunch of trades come through. But, numbers advantage for Valiance there. So you just need to play passive until your teammate comes or until the defender peeks, which is what happened. And round Mami Llama DK got that final kill, making it 1-0 up. Good start for Valiance.
I am a lot of messages right now. This weekend is happening as we do prep for Con and a few other things, so I do appreciate patience there. But yeah, it's a good opening for Valiant. We'll see if they can keep momentum rolling as we do get ready for round 2 here. Crack open to the wall and get a little bit of drone work to assess the defensive setup on the outside of B. And it's going to be a little bit forward pressing as Senpai and Lalo are right here on the front line at the outside.
A nade. Well, that's unlucky. Senpai gets flashed and the nade comes through, but the nade rolls under a cabinet So Senpai takes 0 damage from it. Another flash coming in, making him full blind. Asoria coming in to back up and saving Senpai. Senpai swings out, gets another kill. That's 3v5 for Valiant right now. Quite a bit of damage gone on to Niffin, but no picks. Oh, there you go. There's the first pick. Yellowmat getting a double kill. Flash goes in for Scud. Now it's down even numbers for both teams here, with all 3 of Valiant still outside the Janitor and Orange window.
Hollow and Senpai still tucked in on this front line as Llama pushes in and Senpai Hollow just drops the angle. A good flash there allows the swing for Llama, and that's a 1-2 punch that opens up the outside of B. On site, they lose their final defender, and Valiant with a nice offensive push. 3 left alive, and some Omens carrying through. We'll take round 2.
Yep, that's like it started off very good for Niffin there. The util that came in was very good for Valiant, but Soria backed up the 2 people holding storage, saving lives and getting the kills, and then a bit of an aggressive flank comes into Orange, given the numbers advantage, giving up the numbers advantage there, and then another great flash, and then Mummy Llama just paying off it perfectly, getting 2 kills, and then finally once again finishing off the last kill. 5-0 right now for Mummy Llama DK, along with Yellowmat with 4 kills. They are showing Niffin that there's at least 2 players on Valiant that are not to be messed with whatsoever.
Niffin and Valiant duking it out here this afternoon, and we appreciate everyone stopping by, hanging out, and enjoying the action. There's a good group of folks. So a big shout out to you. Thank you for liking the stream, subscribing to the channel. Had a lot of people tuning in for the EU postseason, and great to see a lot of faces. EU growing, hopefully. If you are interested in joining, you can always sign up, register for a team, and create your own squad if you want. There's room, obviously, as we've seen that 7 seed nearly take out IV just a few series ago. They could have been advancing to the semifinals.
Yep, anything can happen in these games. It's not always about where you place. It's about how much you practice, how much time you put into it, and then what actually happens during the game. Drone comes in to Tetris and spots those trips, and Asoria gets rid of it. Seems like a flash might come through for Tetris. Oh, sorry, backs it off. Never mind. 3 people in Valiant's foaming the wall for Vendin. It comes in, doesn't do any damage though. Another incident. There's quite a bit of util used for Niffin already. Only 1 incident, 1 nade remaining for a round. They bought quite heavy into it, seems like. At least Lolo did. 1:35 on the clock. Llama takes down 1 on backside of the Maria. I didn't even see that. They have 5. I didn't even see they have 4 rifles bought for Valiants. They have bought into this round a lot. Flash comes into backside. Flashes Lolo. Scud pushes out with Viper. Gets 1. Llama pushes in. Gets picked out by 2 people holding into Cubby. So much Fallen kill. Gets a refrag on the Scud. Asoria gets the refrag on the Fallen. Well, Savage kills Senpai. 2v2. HP is very low for Asoria here, with EMP down just outside of sight, and Yellowmat with control of Cubby here. It's a completely free site for Valiants right now, and we're going to go for a Cubby plant, it seems like, so they can hold on the hatch. But Asoria flank and not be able to stop the plant, though.
Does pick up the quick frag, though. Takes it to a 1v2 on defense. Savage, they can get to this top floor before the EMPs defuse. It'll be good, but they're sticking it. There's 2 ticks. They need 1 more, and they stop it just in time. And they find the double kill. What a clutch from Savage.
So close for Asoria to finish in that plant there. I mean, that's all he could do there was just stick it, knowing that he's going to run to the hatch. Maybe if he didn't, maybe if he didn't buffer a little bit earlier to just stick it, it would have changed. But, nerves get to you. You don't fully know if he's getting to the hatch until you hear those rappels and steps. That was great kills right there from Savage. That blind fire as the second kill, not even given a chance to fake or get that final tick on EMP. 3-0 up to Valiants. Very, very good lead. And we're going to see rifles being bought for both teams finally. 3 for Niffin, a Knut, and a Viper for the rest of it as well. I haven't seen much Knut today, I think. I haven't seen any shotgun today, I don't think. A few Euro yesterday.
Interesting buys into round 4, but Niffin definitely hurting on their economy here after losing those rounds. And meanwhile, obviously, like you said, Valiant's fully juiced, so we'll see how Round 4 does unfold for them, but this is a dangerous momentum shift for Valiant right now. I feel like if they win round 4 here, they're going to continue to kind of steamroll through their offensive half.
Yep. So I don't know if Niffin maybe heard some steps somewhere, but they are playing a very weird-looking defense here. 2 people stacked together in the bottom floor of Garage, along with 2 people playing in the conference room, and then we've got, well, Senpai was playing solo with a nade and Insin in top floor, but gets picked off there. It's now 4v5 already. Valiant's with the advantage here. Still, nobody even on the A site apart from Scud and Uda has finally rotated back.
Maybe they were anticipating or trying to read for a bottom floor push, and instead it comes from the top. So their read, not exactly on point, but their ability to crash back certainly is. And so everyone's back on site defending in time with 1:30 left. An interesting rollout that maybe would have absolutely stalled and disrupted Valiance if they had tried to push in from the basement.
Yep, I mean, once again, you take a gamble on where you play. If you think they're going to do an off-meta push or, you know, just a different type of push, it catches them off guard completely, because when you do those sort of pushes, you don't expect anything. Lolo on the flank picks off Mami Lama DK, but Savage gets to refrag. 4v3 now, sorry, for Valiant, with still quite a bit of util on the Valiant side, with 1 stim and 1 instant for Niffin. Minute on the clock.
Sim's going to get tossed over to Uda as utility does come out. Smokes here. Fallen catches 1 through the wall. Scuds big swings for 2. A nice double kill, but Asoria tucked in. Catches the EMP plant and will go down through the smoke. Just barely. Valiants remain undefeated. 4-0 with an EMP plant for a little bit extra cash into the pocket. Not that Valiants needed it.
Scud getting that double kill definitely put Nippin back into that round there. And then you see, was it Astoria in that smoke then? Just very sneakily, leg was sticking out, but it was Savage. I'm pretty sure they got picked off by Scud in that first kill of his that saved Astoria's life, and then he stops the plant just by, you know, being in that smoke, and then gets picked off through the smoke. That was a close round for Valiant, but they still take it away. Still, like you said, keep that lead. 4-0 up. Money, you know, obviously you're going to have the loser's bonus for Niffin, but still not going to have the best econ for this round. Still buying into it, not even trying to save for around 6 here. But we should have enough. Senpai should buy you, assuming they're full buy into this round. And yeah, let's see if the Valiant keeps the score up, or Niffin finally get their first round on the board, keeping themselves in this game and this series.
Ooh. A strong opener.
Yep.
As we do get into round 5 now, the hatch opening up, and be a fast push to a site, but maybe not, as they do sort of take a bit of a pause. Some drone work going to come through to make sure there's no over-aggressive defenders, and they will see Senpai in the corner. That flash doesn't catch Senpai, and the shots through the wall certainly do, though. That's big damage.
No stims for them, it seems. Yeah, so Senpai didn't buy into any util here. So they did have 2 people on Niffin saving for the next round, with 2 people in, well, 3 people force buying into it. So not much util to stop this plan. It's going to rely on all gun skill for Niffin here. We've got Yellow Mac holding the hatch for, I think, a flank just the end of Tetris, just keeping Valiant safe from that Tetris flank. 1 minute 30 on the clock. Util goes down for Valiant's. Plant goes down quickly as well. Scud gets 1 with through the smoke to stop the plant. Lolo gets another 1 on the flank. Yellow Mac gets the refrag. Cubby's foamed. Senpai is a bit distracted by it. 3v3 right now. Senpai still on Cubby, gets the pick onto Yellow Mac. 3v2. EMP is placed. They know it's placed. Senpai needs to play a bit passive here. Don't need to peek too early, but he peeks a bit too early there. No, that's a bit of a misplay. 2v2 now. And both players playing black site. No util for either team apart from a stim. 2v1. Less than 100 HP between Niffin here. A little bit of damage goes on to Savage. It's looking good for Niffin here to get their first round if they play it as good as they need to beat a team like Valiant, a number 3 team.
God. Tucked into the back line. Transfers for 1, swings for the second. The battle back and forth, and Savage clutches it up. The 1v2 with an EMP plant. Valiants are 5-0 on map 1.
Oh, another 1v2 top floor by Savage there once again. We saw it. We saw it on the round, I think it was round 2 or round 3. I think it was round 3, where he done it and does it again, keeping them with that just unbeaten streak for this map so far. Unlucky for Niffin there, close as they've been, I think, to winning their first round this game, but a little bit too, a little bit too maybe too spread out, peaking a bit too early. All stuff that just like Ivy did last game. After the map's done, even if you lose it, you can always come back. It's just because you lost one map doesn't mean you've lost the game. You can figure out what you've done wrong and come back for the next 2 maps.
If you do see any sort of like desync and stuff like that on the stream, it's very likely on my end as well, because I am in a West Coast server, or I'm a West Coast connecting to an Amsterdam server right now, so we're tapping into the EU stream from across the pond, so to speak, and I don't imagine that that's reflected in game, but either way, a huge clutch.
Yeah. That was very good by Savage again. Final round in the first half. We're going in here. See if just Valiant obviously wants to just lock out this first half, lock out this game as fast as they can. They don't want to. I don't want to make it any harder than they want it to be. But damage already onto Lolo here. They do have stims. Senpai, was that blind fire? I didn't even fully see that. But Senpai gets a kill into Yellowmac on the window. We see one person flanking. We've got Fallen flanking in in garage, but gets spotted by a proximity alarm. 5v4 for Niffin here. Scud peeking out the top floor window. Savage knows he's there though. Kind of got to back off at that point. It's very, very easy for you to. Ooh, that's an unlucky throw. Senpai's trying to give a stim to Lolo, but Mummy Llama DK is holding that window.
A little instant to buy some time. It's not a lot, but I gotta slow them down from entering for 5 seconds. At the end of the day,
Llama's gonna lean in. Oh, yeah. Scud made noise there, which Llama's gonna jump in and get the second. Llama just does not have a care in the world right now. All the confidence, getting these kills. Lolo's still tucked in the corner, maybe not known. Senpai walks into the.
Oh, trip mines.
Yep. Unfortunately, takes out Llama. 1v3 now for Asoria with Fallen flanking, no info on him. Blind fire's coming in, blind, yeah, Fallen flashes twice. Asoria's, white screen there, nothing you can do. 6-0 lockout on the first half of this Factory Map 1 game for Valiant.
This is tough because now Niffin on a side swap might be able to bounce back, but you really have to win your pistol round. You don't have any wiggle room to pick up an offensive, to lose your pistol round here. So in a very even space, it's tough to do. With limited utility available as well, they're going to have to rely on the 1 or 2 flashes they'll have available and 1 or 2 nades they'll have available. So not going to be a lot for them to work with. And yeah, I don't know. You just got to stay disciplined, tucked in, and allow Niffin to work into you if you're Valiant. And scoop up your pistol round and lock in a map 1W 7-0. That's a good way to start your best of 3 single win bracket.
Yep. Niffin have got to play more perfect, just even more perfect than Valiant have been playing to even have a chance to still win this map here. They need to win 7 rounds in a row to be able to win this. They basically obviously need to do a 7-0 here. Valiant have got all the confidence they need right here to just do anything they want. Well, not anything they want, obviously. They're still, you don't want to throw. Fallen, crashing downstairs, doesn't get the second headshot onto Asoria, gets him down to 1 HP. 5v4 early on. Wallbang's coming in, maybe Asoria will get picked off just by a hand shot. Good start for Niffin though. Already. With still loads of util and 1 number picked off. Not even going for a hatch play here though. No hatch open. Maybe don't want to even try and worry about anyone flanking them from lockers.
There's Asoria going down.
Close by Mummy Llama DK. Lolo getting his head taken off by One White Wonder on the stairs. Yellowmac peeking out to the window, killing Scud. 4v2. So much. Oh, the HP so low for Valiant here. 2v4. Who's this on the flank? Senpai on the very, very long flank. With Uda just going to have to bide this time a little bit. Still a minute 30 on the clock with 2 people on there on Valiant having 10 HP and 1 HP. This is looking pretty good for Valiant here to just win this map already. I think Senpai gets spotted.
Oh.
He does, yep. 1v4. for
Hunted
Uda.
down. Valiant's feeling good right now, locked in. Working around through this site now and pushing up towards Uda. It's going to be tough for them to hold down this stair advance. The Llama is low on HP, so it could be sort of a one-at-a-time situation if they're not careful. Uda is going to come up for the push. They are going to go up against at least one. Finds the kill. Wonder swings out. They don't find the kill. Wonder scoops it up, and it's a clean and flawless 7-0 for Valiant to open up this best of 3. And again, I mean, what's going on in these early maps? Maybe Niffin's going to suddenly come back and we're going to have a 6-6 map too. I don't know, but the same thing happened with IV.
Yep, maybe like you said, Niffin just need to have their warm-up. You know, game's not over till it's over. Best of 3, like you said, 7-0 for Valiant. They've got that one map advantage. You know, just like Chaotic did last game. So the next map, they don't have to have too much of a, you know, too much of pressure on top of them. But they know if they win that map as well, they're through. They're done. They're done with the quarterfinals. Move straight onto the semi-finals next weekend on Saturday. So it's a very good start for Valiant here. Niffin need to maybe huddle up and talk about the issues that went on that game and see if they can do what Ivy done and come back for 2-man.
We will see as we do get closer to the end, potentially, of one of these teams' seasons. Maybe that pressure will be what they need to bounce back, to sort of reignite as a squad. You know, it's definitely a tough start, but we'll see if a sub, something, for Niffin or maybe for Valiant, be what Niffin needs. As I do believe we are swapping sides, and we'll be starting on the attack. I do wonder if Niffin will start on the defense. I wonder if then Valiant are going to be choosing map.
Yep. So Arctic has been voted, and they've got 9 players in. So I think maybe a sub coming in, but Niffin seems like to stay in defense. But that was definitely a very dominant match, map 1 for Valiant, and you know they're gonna have all the confidence in the world going into map 2. Hopefully it doesn't, you know, get to their head and they do anything a little bit silly, and they just keep this lead going and just get this win done for them.
7-0 map 1 is impressive. The last time they faced off against each other, Valiant's won 14-7, so that means that they won in likely 2 maps. And
yep,
those 7 points.
3,
yeah. Scored there.
That's
so
7.
Solid opening for Valiant, but maybe we'll see a bounce back for Niffin here. Map number 2 on Arctic. And you can see Niffin have a lot more rounds played on this map than Valiant's do. Maybe that experience will come out here this afternoon. Regardless, we're diving into the mix. And happy to see at least Valiant's come out strong, because whoever's going to win here today needs to be looking good. IV showed that they can step up, that they're here to fight, that they're going to play strong in the semifinals. And I mean, if Valiant's play like this, what are we going to get with IV versus Valiant? That's going to be a heck of a semifinals that we'll have next weekend if that's how it goes.
Yep, definitely looking forward to watching it. And like I said, that was just, honestly, I think that was like 2. Yeah, no, there was like 2 close rounds last game, which Savage obviously just stopped it from even Niffin from even trying to get that 1 extra round. Savage doing a 1v2 twice in a row, giving them these just everything. Those 2 extra rounds could mean a lot, especially for, you know, eco and then your mental. So going into map 2, it's a fresh map. Nothing matters from last map, but if you got any mental changes, you've just got to know that, you know, you've got to win this map for either team. You know, make it easier or keep yourself in. That's how it goes.
Bush coming into B site, getting shut down is Fallen. Catches the kills. Let's go to Soria. Uda and Lolo all holding things down on the front line, trying to get aggressive and prevent this EMP plant from even coming through as they really stack up with some smokes and get pushed forward on that defensive front line.
Yeah, so they're using a lot of util early. Wall, I don't think the wall was even foamed yet. And oh no, it is foamed but not open. But Niffin used basically all their util. They've got one instant left. Wall's not even open. Wall's now open. EMP. Instant goes down on bomb. Nade goes in backside. The story are not using this instant. They use it a bit too late. Yellow Mac's gonna take a lot of damage but not die. Look at the health for Valiant though. 2v4, but the health is so low, especially for a pistol round. It's still definitely winnable for Niffin here if they can play together and get these picks. Yellow Mac gets to go onto Astoria. 1v4. Oh, that's a very close, at least for health-wise, round for Valiant, but they do take round 1, just like last game on this attack round on Arctic.
Solid opener for them, as I did have swapped sides on the teams. We apologize there. Valiant's opening up.
Sorry, did I say something wrong there?
No, you were right. You were right, Valiant's. But I had the scores wrong.
Okay.
So I had the teams on the wrong side. So I was like, wait, what the heck? I had to swap it. But yes, a solid opener there, and that's what they need. I mean, again, it's now 8-0 coming in from Valiant. So at this point, Niffin just need a point on the board so they can stop what is this steamroll that's happening right now. Valiants are absolutely running away with this series because, well, they've got that momentum, and that can mean a lot more in the postseason than it does during the regular season.
Yep, like we said in the last game with Ivy and Chaotic, a postseason match is just so much more pressure than just a normal regular season match, because once you lose this one, you're out. You can't come back for a second chance to like you can in CC if you place below 7th. Once you lose it, you're out, and so everything matters. Everything comes down to these games, and you've got to give it your all to stay in.
It's Senpai working their way up the stairs, working their way up for a flank. Fallen here, not ready for it. They'll go down. EMP down on the back line as Senpai drops back, but gets caught out by Dev.
Yep, you've got a. It was a really good pick for Senpai. That Savage getting a pick on Lolo, but sorry, getting the refrag in library.
Ooh.
Sorry, I think getting the wallbang to Mummy Llama DK, just dropping into his sights there. 3v2.
Good flash.
Ooh,
catches both of them.
aggressive.
Look at this rotation back into sight. They're absolutely swinging around this defense. The instant catches a kill and they're planting. What a swing from Valiant.
Perfectly played. They knew where everybody was. That instant flash to pick off Lolo there. I don't know who it was, but they picked off someone with the instant flash while rotating. That's ended up playing maybe a bit too aggressive. 1v2. EMP planted in a weird spot. Yellow Mac really can only be in one position here. But the HP for Niffin looking pretty bad. Only has a Spectral though. So Niffin take their first round of the entire series, making it into 1-1. That was such a good rotate. It's just unlucky how they unlucky on the positioning and just how you play it. Low HD, look at that 21 HP combined right there.
Yep.
I think with an Omen would have been different.
Niffin coming alive a little bit, though, and hey, that's their foot in the door. It finally a point on the board. The start to their Arctic potential map win. I mean, this is, again, a map that they have a lot of rounds played on in comparison to Valiant's. We looked at the matchup history a couple of times this afternoon in this series, but Arctic played 85 times by Niffin, 54 by Valiant. That's rounds, of course. They haven't played that many matches. That's crazy. But still, that experience over win rate could be valuable. Losing, you learn more from a loss than a win, some say.
Yep, 100%. It's if you win a game, stomp it. You don't learn much about what you've done wrong. Maybe you learn a few things when someone how died. But if you lose 7-0 or have a close win, there's small mistakes that led up to that. And once you fix those mistakes, lock them in. The next game will be closer, or you'll win the next game. It's all about fixing. You don't need to focus on everything at once. It's fixing the small things, and then because if it's literally small things that stack up equal big losses in the rounds. So you fix them. Everyone fixes their own little mistakes, and it makes it a lot easier in the long run for everyone to play together and win. All this drone's fully droning Senpai out here. We didn't see that against Ivy. We saw Quinn lurking there. The drone didn't fully search him, so Senpai's gonna have to back out of that.
Look at this odd Niffin defense stack here. 3 3 set up on, all 4 actually set up on the outside here. Once utility starts to come in, they crash back inside. And I guess they baited out quite a bit of utility there on the corner. So, job done to some degree.
Yeah, we've seen a little bit of a different hold here for Niffin. 2 people on site, and then everyone else off left-hander getting the 2 picks. All the people that are on site. 4v2 now. Lolo's stuck in a corner. Senpai with him. EMP's down. They know where everyone is. Yep, left-hander picks up Lolo swinging out, and Fallen still holding from outside. Brings it into a 2-1. They did have the rifle advantage there. Very well played attack. 1 person lost, and that's all.
The one-hand on grapple kill there for Fallen, pretty nicely done. But yeah, Valiant CU up 2-1. Swinging back momentum into their favor, but who knows who the Urkon coming out from Senpai. Always a interesting choice, and one that I think recently got buffed with the update, so maybe we'll see it come out a little more. But I think it got a double kill last time when I was casting with Gravy yesterday. So it's an effective tool in close quarters. You just got to obviously stick to the close quarters with it. So see what Senpai is able to do, especially on a map on an objective like this. I think it's a decent choice.
Yep, like you said, the Hurricane getting buffed. It's the spread of the pellets. I think it was like 10% less spread of the pellets for the Hurricane now, so it's got a little bit less range, a little bit more range, sorry, and it means more of those pellets. If they hit the chest, it's even more damage. 3 people. Aggressive push from here. Senpai, yeah, 2 shots. Yellow Mac flashes himself and Senpai. 4v3 now for Niffin early on. It's a bit aggressive from Valiant to another bit.
Wow. Amilama can't even get the drone in before everyone's dead on Valiance. An absolute dominant Niffin defensive hold, mostly due to Senpai finding multiple kills and shutting down entry through the main doorway with the Huracan.
Yep. Just speaking about the Huracan, obviously, that like you didn't really see any long range kills per se, but you know, 2 shots per kill right there. Chest, is all you need. That was such an aggressive hold, and it worked so well. Mamilama still. I wonder if he's going to try and get some picks here. 1 shot to the face. Oh my. Well done, Senpai. That Huracan round right there.
Huge.
Oh.
I mean, huge. This is the Niffin season on the line right now. And they're buying into a gun that for all season long has been off meta, but only recently has been updated. Exciting to see a team able to adjust to new things. You know, how quickly can these teams adjust to flashbangs, like we've been talking about? Not a lot of time to practice with these huge meta changes. And some teams, I think, some players, better at adapting faster than others. And that's going to really be maybe a big deterministic factor in who's going to win this season.
Yep, 100%. Just like you said with the adapting thing there. What Nippin done there, maybe not adapting, but you know, they had a close range weapon, and they decided to play so aggressive. They were playing, they had 3 people there and 2 people up on the flank. I think they did get 1 kill on the upstairs. I think I wasn't fully looking, but they played around the weapons they had that round, and they played around it perfectly. Obviously, Senpai dropping 3 or 4. Hurricane.
Dev Sender goes down early to Asoria. A nice early scoop up that sets Niffin to an advantage as Fallen tries to catch Lalo rotating out, the drone finding them. Defense will tuck back into the objective and pull off of their very forward defensive setup, although Senpai's still here with the Huracan. Flashes come in, don't connect onto them. Fallen throwing a lot of utility to the back line that isn't connecting, and another Senpai kill.
Oh, but a push on the A site, 3 people. It was a fake. Onto B here. 5 people on Niffin still alive, but they're going to get plant down. It'll be 3v5. Defending now. Valiant's now on defense. Sorry gets 1. Savage gets a refrag. Sorry, Savage gets 1. Sorry gets a refrag. 3v1 now for Yellow Mac. Holding the hallway pretty far away.
Ooh, gets one.
It's alright.
Almost.
It's a kill through.
Yeah, catches 2, but would have also had to go up against Uda. But another defensive point. Niffin hanging in there on their defensive half, going up 3-2. And I got to wonder if maybe just the 2 offensive points is enough for Valiant when it comes to the side swap, how their defense will look, and if Niffin will be able to crack through it.
Yep, first time we've seen Niffin in the lead. This series, obviously 7-0 last game, so they didn't even get a chance to get there. But there's another thing about what Senpai's doing. Bringing it out again, it's when you die to a shotgun, it just kind of hits you. It hurts when you die to that, and so with a game like this where so much pressure's on the line, you got the nerves kicking in. Dying like that can annoy you, change that mental up, and you know that Niffin just rack up the rounds even more and more. So final round in the first half of the game, 3-2. See if either the team Valiants with no rifles this round can draw it up, or if Niffin with all the money they want can keep the lead going with a 2-point advantage going into the second half.
Interesting to buy into the Huracan when you have the option of going to a meta rifle, so definitely shows that Senpai's feeling it right now. And I guess, yeah, hey, that's half of the battle is you got to be feeling, you got to be like in the zone, and Senpai's definitely in the zone with the Huracan.
Yep, if it ain't broken, don't fix it, and that's exactly what he's doing. You got 2 roamers again. You see, whenever there's a roamer for Niffin, they do it in pairs. You got Lolo and Astoria downstairs, and then you've got Uda and Scud. Kind of, they are just playing together. I mean, Scud's trying to watch where he's going. So Senpai kind of being the lone person, close on B site. It's a very late flank. Oh, he gets droned out. Drone under the doorway. Mummy Llama DK spots them both. That's going to be a long rotate back. And I'm pretty sure Valiant might push off this quick, knowing there's only 3 people that can be holding down this B site.
Ball's getting opened
Senpai
up.
close.
Llama's
See
looking.
the back of Mummy Llama.
Oh my.
Gets the kill and gets the cover.
Senpai is a huge threat with this Huracan over here, and they can't move forward like they wanted to because Senpai's alive.
Yep. Oh, Lolo and sorry, didn't go for the rotate. They get 1 kill. If they remember there's a second person there. Death Center pushes through the smoke. Lolo's gets a kill through the smoke. Death Center gets the refrag. Gets the next kill on the Senpai. They
my.
just... Wow. Falling and Death Center just frag out right there. Death Center getting that triple. 2 on the stairs, 1 on the site. Very, very good play by them. 3-3 going into the second half now.
Might be enough for Valiant when they go onto the defense now for them to be in control, but also might be enough for Niffin when they go on the attack now for them to put enough points on the board to take this map. Niffin, do or die, have to win 4 rounds to advance on to map number 3. Valiant's EU just need 4 rounds, and they've got themselves a series win, and they go to the semifinals. Pressure now on both sides, honestly, so just for different reasons.
Yep, 100%. His pistol round just means so much if Niffin can win their first pistol round here. Actually, did they win pistol round this half? I forgot. I don't think they did. I think they won second round and then round 3. But bottom floor, this, so much util helps on this site, and it being pistol round, you don't get to have all the util you want, but you're seeing flashes spread between spread between 3 people on Niffin. And then you got the Ensigns along with 2 nades and 1 Ensign. I don't think they have a second Ensign. Maybe it's hidden somewhere for Valiants. But that's definitely helpful to stop the plant here. You can throw it from a safe distance and stop it for the next 10 seconds.
Defense set up, ready, and waiting outside of B. The standard meta push for this site. No one really tends to go A.
Yeah.
E and this corner plan are pretty much the desired location for anybody pushing this site. And here comes Utility coming into the backline, falling, getting flashed. Ensign catches Lalo. They can't get out of it in time. They can.
Oh my. Yep. Uda on the red room. Gets 1 kill. Gets picked off now. 3v2. Low HP on Lolo. Gonna go for the plant, but Savage 6 HP as well. Still 1 Ensign for Mummy Llama DK. Throws it deep. Gets damage onto him. Yep. There's 1 kill for Scud. Llama's low HP. Lolo pre-fires him. That's another round for Niffin. 4-3 now. They win their pistol round. And they've got the lead once again. And an econ advantage going into the next round.
pretty big. That was a pretty clean offensive point there. They were in control on the pressure. They really seemed like they outmaneuvered the defense a little bit there with the pistol round. And the pistol round's like the real equalizer. You know, it's both teams very much going up against each other with the same kits. So interesting to see Niffin rolling out strong on offense, but we'll see if that trend continues. We go back to the top floor. Maybe it's objective. Who knows? As Valiant's just, not quite rolling like they were in map 1, which they won 7-0.
Yep. And I saw Niffin, not Niffin, sorry, Senpai on Niffin instantly buy that Eurogun. He's keeping it going. He's like you said, he's feeling it, and that's what matters. They've made some noise over by B, over by A, sorry. So you got Yellow Mac and Fallen hauled in Lolo, who maybe they don't know is there, but they've heard the noise there. So Lolo's going to try fake there either early or just try and lurk later. Mummy Llama in kitchen all alone with Death Thunder in a green hallway and Savage playing on site, backing him up. It seems like maybe. They made noise on top of the hatch over by B, foamed it, and they're going to crouch round. But like I said, they made noise there earlier. They made noise over on A earlier on, so there's still 2 people hauled in where Lolo is, and obviously those repels are going to make a lot of noise. So here we're going to see the push starts. The push starts onto A, but Valiant's are instantly going to call it. So Senpai's got his head down, gun down. It's picked off by Yellow Mac doing an aggressive swing there. Wall goes open. Yellow Mac gets another kill. Savage gets the 3rd. Mummy Llama on the 4th. 1v5. So quick. Scud gets 1 and gets picked off by Mummy. Okay. Quick round. Very quick round.
That's a shutdown if there's ever been a shutdown. Valiant's denying entry at all onto A side. And sometimes big, fast plays are solid in the game of Breachers. If you can coordinate well, if you can place your utility to the right positions, there may be some of, if not the most effective ways to push into site, but they also carry a lot of risk. And I feel like when we see these top-tier teams push for big plays like that, they tend to execute them well, and you see them work a lot, but also they do very much fail, and that is an aggressive push getting shut down and failing. You end up kind of exposing yourself a little too much sometimes, and if the defense times the retake just right, they've got themselves a nice round in their hands. So, off of a pistol win, Niffin quickly lose that economic advantage, and we're pretty much dead even on overall buy here between one rifle on both sides and SMGs across the board.
I also think Niffin definitely weren't expecting maybe even more than one of Valiant's members being towards that site so quick, but obviously you saw 2 of them stacked up on the A site and then 1 in kitchen. They were there so quick, and Niffin just weren't ready for the quick response to their quick push. I think they're going for a hatch drop, or at least Lolo and Senpai are, but they've made a lot of noise upstairs with the footsteps. So Valiant's once again quickly rotating. You got 2 people, quickly. Yellow Mac and Mummy Llama DK, holding the door where Asorius, Gun and Udo are, because it's just a bit obvious that's going to be pushing out. A good flash comes in, Llama smokes himself off after getting flashed. Head drop comes in, Lolo gets killed, Senpai gets another one. Llama pushes in the smoke, gets 1, gets picked off again by Udo. Udo with a double. 3v2 now, Senpai still on a hatch. Impy's in an instant, so they can't pick it up right now.
Oh, and the utility.
Savage accidentally nades Dev Sender. 3v1, EMP now going down. Once again, another very quick push. Flash is helping so much there, as we saw. And there it is. 5-4. It's going back and forth right now.
Sometimes aggression works, and that's a good execution right there. Coming in, good utility placement. You see all of the dead bodies on the corner there from was flashbangs and grenades and Insins, a consistent barrage that ends up zoning out and killing all the on-site defense. Just comes down to execution when you're in the top tier like this, and Niffin are executing a bit better here on map number 2. Arctic looking a little bit more in control for them. On the economy side, they're able to full buy in, and in comparison, we do see Valiant's able to get some action over there with some rifles and omens, but it is a do or die round for them. If they lose here, they're going to have a tough time winning this map.
Yep. I see Senpai with, I believe, a Viper and yeah, so he's got a Viper and a Hurricane. You know, a little bit further range for the Viper, and then can switch to close range really quick. Along with four rifles on the side of Niffin, with you said two, sorry, for Valiants here. But still a good amount of util. You see the green Horde here. They got 2 stacks in there, along with Dev Sander with a nade and instant to stop the push. Hatch gets blown, but they've rotated around to B again. Seems like they're gonna try A. Sorry, looks like they're gonna try the same push this time, but not much noise made over there. So Mummy Llama DK able to stop it with an Oral. Oh, drone goes down in kitchen by Dev Sander here. Noise comes in. Can Llama pick any of them off? 5v4. Wallbang comes in though. Rotate's coming out. All 4 people on site. Savage gets a kill onto Senpai, who pushed him side a bit, maybe a bit too quick there. Scud goes in to get the plant. 4v4. Scud's safe from that instant, just doesn't wrap around the corner. Needs to just stick it here. Uda getting a bit too aggressive. Savage getting a double kill off it. Scud trying to get a one-hand kill. 1v2 now, 4 HP. Blind Fire comes in, Savage gets a triple. 5-5. So we are just going 1 round for each team right now.
Here we go. Now we're waking up. It's a repeat. It's all scripted. This is EU down to the T of what we expected here today. Another big clutch multi-kill coming in from Savage this time. As soon as the instant dissipates, they swing out for 2, eventually scooping up Scud as well on that front line. So huge retake, and oh man, yeah, where are you at if you're Niffin? You're hurting on economy. Valiant's full and strong, healthy with all of the utility and rifles they need, but Niffin gonna have to stick with some SMGs, maybe even an eco round here. But they're better equipped for the last round of the half.
Yep. Honestly, if I was Niffin here, I'd buy as much as I can to still have enough for next round. I'd play for the overtime here instead of trying to do like a half buy, you know, 2 rifles you see, and then 3 SMGs. If you just save this round, so you have util and weapons next in the round next to make it into a 6-6 and play for overtime. But Niffin decided to try and go all out to try and win this round just to get them that match point now. So if they do lose the next round because of like not enough econ at all, they still have the overtime push. But we got any rumors for Valiants? One upstairs, Mummy Llama DK. No
risky to
hatch drop
roam for a team that's been playing as fast as Niffin have.
Yeah, definitely. It's still Niffin playing it. Quick still, Fallen picking up 2. Just walking in a bit. Savage gets another one.
Oh.
Fallen gets a 3rd. The Dev Sender pushing up the hallway to Asoria, who's just stuck in green now, and they know. I think they maybe clip there. Yeah. So a little bit of a clip. You know they're in there, and he's like, no, they're in that corner. He gets 1. Fallen doesn't get the 4K, but Mummy Llama DK gets the roof frag. 4 people standing for Valiants into 6-5. Match point on map 2. This is series point for Valiants right now to go to the semi-finals against Ivy.
It's crazy to have economy even be a factor this late in the rounds. You know, like it's been so back and forth that Niffin are in this weird spot where they have to spend all the money they have, but it's not enough. Even after a couple of consecutive losses, it's not enough consecutive losses. And so they spent so hard last round, to your point, that now it's another partial buy. It's Uricon, which I guess has been working in Senpai's hands, but Viper, 2 Maruis, and another Viper. So they're down 2 rifles going into this round. That, of course, hasn't meant much because we've seen teams at this level playing in this level of the postseason absolutely out-execute and perform with off-meta weapons. So Senpai could easily pick up an ace with the Uricon, and quite frankly, from what I have been seeing, and maybe it's going to happen here as we get into the last round, potentially, of this season for Senpai and the Niffin squad.
Yep. So we're seeing another off-meta push. Obviously, we talked about the A push earlier. It doesn't happen too often. The thing is here, Niffin have made no noise round B. So it's just really just obvious that it's going to be an A push, and we can see Valiant's already basing it off 2 people playing pipes, 1 on A, and we've got Mummy Llama DK playing a bit aggressive on the hallway. because I think they know Senpai's upstairs. Door gets open, Lava gets one, puts a smoke down. Does get picked off again though. Senpai drops the hatch, gets naded Insin, almost blind fires over the top of the pipes to kill DevSender. That damage done is enough for Uda to pick up the kill through the vent. 4v3 now, Senpai stuck in that corner at low HP.
I like the coordination though, because Fallen is getting drawn to this other side. Worried about Senpai from the back line. Asoria takes a bit of damage, but a nice Insin there catches big damage onto Fallen. Senpai just needs to put a bullet into Fallen, but can't because Yellow Max holding over the top. Niffin are down to just 1-2. Savage finds the double. Niffin's season's over. Valiant EU advance on to the semifinals.
Yep. I mean, it was such a good start to the push. The damage that Senpai just done by blind firing over the top of those pipes, I never even thought of that.
Yeah.
And then but it's just a shame that Niffin looked away from the vent for just like half a second looked away from the vent where full peek through and get one kill and damage onto the next. Senpai was stuck in that pipe room with someone holding him, and then they pushed the site, and we see Savage obviously getting so many multi-kills between both games, just picks the last two off, pushing through the doorway.
Yeah, it
ending
was
the game.
A stellar series overall from Niffin, bouncing back off of a really rough map 1. Losing 7-0 hurts on a map like Factory, but then to come back and chip away on that second map there, a nice attempt from Niffin on Arctic, but not quite enough. Valiants will move on to challenge the IV squad that just won earlier today. And then we have, again, those matchups happening next weekend. Saturday will be the semifinals for EU, so be sure to tune in to that because you're not going to want to miss the action. It'll be live here on the VRML network. But that is it for us in the EU region. NA starts in 3 hours from now on this channel, so do be sure to tune in and catch the action. For now, though, we appreciate you stopping by, hanging out. Be sure to thumbs up the stream, subscribe to the channel. My name has been Nightfire with 2 E's, my co-caster Pixel Player. We'll see you all for more action later today and next weekend. But until then, stay classy. VRML is brought to you by Helga, the esports manager, Triangle Factory. Thanks for watching VRML.